get away. Son, the war's not over. The dawn's not that far away. Hop back on the saddle soon. You saw this soldier. The dark can consume your brain. All we ever wanted was a little air to breathe. But all we got are ashes of our old memories. They can try to take me down, but they can't take me to my knees. No, you'll never take me. Not my choice, but it's my blood to bleed. I'm fake.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if I'm heard. We are having some vMix issues currently. We are trying to resolve these as quickly as possible. How are we looking, Alex? Am I audible on screen?
Hello,
We're
hello.
good.
There we go.
Oh,
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for slight technical issues, but yeah, look, welcome to the grand final of the Women's League, which, look, unfortunately, a little bit tarnished by some very unfortunate news. Unfortunately, Blue Panda, look, turned out to be not particularly the PogChamp gamer, and instead turned out to be the cringe gamer.
yeah. I mean, look, cringe as it was. I hate to break it to everybody, unfortunately, but look, you've all been pulled along. The whole Bed Wars thing is a scam. It never happened. It's all a big joke between myself, the other casters, the XPE support staff, everyone here. It never happened. There were never any Bed Wars games. Blue Panda never cheated, and yeah, it never
And the
happened.
birds
In
are
fact,
fake.
he's here. He's here. He's here tonight, and he will be casting, ladies and gentlemen. Here he is, everyone. Welcome back to Blue Panda. He never left.
Hi, yeah, look, I was presented with an opportunity earlier on in this season, and I decided to make the most of it. And we figured, as a production team, how we wanted to see how long this whole thing could go. And we're here. We're at the grand finals. We figured we'd take it the full distance. Proto is not going to be cast in the grand finals. The guy's had a hard day at work, so we are going to let him get some sleep. But he will be back next season. Proto, thank you so much for running with the joke. You could head off. You could go back to bed now. Cthulhu, we are going to be heading into the thick of things, though. It is grand final time here of the XP Esports Women's League. I'm having some minor issues with my side of VMix, but
Okay. Well,
I can see the Quacked logo, but that is it.
That's a bit unfortunate, but yeah, look, I'll take on over for a little bit whilst you're getting things fixed up. Look, yeah, we had a phenomenal season running for us. We had phenomenal 8 teams join us for this season. Unfortunately, well, halfway through the season, Salix Esports dropped out, but we do have the all of our teams pretty much sorted out, but the current 2 grand finalists that came into this with an absolute finesse. Look, honestly, group stage was played in a fashion of best of 1 and showed us some quite interesting matches, to say at the very least, some very unusual performances, some very pog performances, and now going into the finals, the best of 3 to decide which team gets the first place and the $1,500 and which team goes away with only the second place. Which, look, still, it's a valiant effort by both of the teams, and already, given the fact that they've made it this far and managed to perform so well, is already a huge testament to their performance, their agility, and their ability to play possibly at a later date in some of the higher leagues as well.
Yeah, there we are. I'm back. We're ready to go. And yes, Cthulhu, it has been a long season, some hard-fought victories, some big matches, and the new double round robin format has meant more games to be played, watched, and, well, just casted. So I'm super excited to see this change, and hopefully we look to see it carry on in the future. But prize pool, this is what is on the line. There is big bucks. It is down to this grand final. Winner walks away with the fifth. Well, walks away with 1,500. The runner-up only gets 1,000. That is a huge difference. That's over. Well, that's exactly $100 per person more that you're making if you win the grand finals. And well, with this best of 3 format, it could go any which way.
Indeed, yeah, look, both of the teams managed to show us a absolutely stunning performance. Quacked, the team that has seen a few quite solid performances and has been built up as the team to kind of be the next in line for the I suppose the oh gosh, what was the name? Well, the team, I'm completely blanking out for, well, partially for to continue the legacy of Elevate, partially to continue the legacy of some of the other players. But then we have also Overt, the kind of freshly built up team that is looking to possibly claim that that champion prize pool and, well, get themselves sorted out for a solid amount of money.
Well, I mean, look, we are coming to the tail end here of season 5. It is all down to tonight. It is all down to this one best of 3. Will it be Overt? Will it be Quacked? Obviously, it has to be a new champion. It's no longer going to be Elevate. unfortunately, yeah, with the changes that are made between seasons, Cortari for the first time in a long time, not in the grand finals. So there is going to be a new team of queens crowned here in this best of three grand final. Quack coming through completely undefeated in the group stage. Overt didn't quite have the same run, but they still second overall. We have seen in past iterations of the tournament, just because you finished first doesn't mean you could win the whole thing.
Exactly. Yeah, look, we've seen some amazing performances in best of ones, but best of threes is where the main kind of trial by fire is really at. It's where it tests your endurance, your performance on each and every map, and at this point with the best of three, it's a much bigger disparity in the maps that you have to play. And honestly, it's one of those things that definitely separates kind of some of the teams as well from the best and the great teams.
Well, I mean, this is it. This is where we decide who is the great and who is the good. I mean, look, all the teams that competed this season, phenomenal teams, phenomenal players, have been some great matches to watch. But this is it. This is the final match of the season, a best of three grand final quacked. Parts of that Elevate roster, parts of Nocturnal joined together to make this one absolute monster gunner team in the competition. And then Overt, the super squad that was put together, was Skyfire. And then with the merger with Overt, they obviously pick up that banner. They themselves have had some unfortunate losses, but on the whole, I mean, I think it was 11 and 3 or something crazy by the end of that group stage. Yeah, 11-3. I'm right on. Smashed it. But this is a different beast entirely. We have seen best of ones up until this point. It is best of three now. They played one each. They both won 2-0. But, I mean, the two super squads battling it out. I couldn't tell you who takes it.
Yeah, look, I'm with you on this one. It's been pretty much back and forth. Given the fact, though, that Overt did manage to win out over Quacked previously, I believe, in the best of one series. But again, it was very much close. It was full regulation of rounds, and it did end up in a 7-5 scoreline. So with that said, this time Quack get the chance for redemption really here and look into, well, what could possibly happen. Let's have a look, as a matter of fact, over at the rosters to get ourselves familiarized one more time before the conclusion of the season about, well, just one more time before the best of three kicks off, because look, both of these rosters deserve all of the acknowledgement and all the recognition for all their hard work.
Well, it's exactly it as we take a deep dive into the Quack roster, who will be looking to run and gun their way to a victory here tonight. There's a lot to remember. Obviously, some of these girls have played much longer throughout the seasons of the Women's League, and it is attestable to the stats that you see on the screen. They have been playing for a number of seasons. Crips T, AJ, Diana, Time for Pie, Soy, and then Mons up. I don't know if she would called in tonight, but this is a roster of absolute gunners. They find the craziest frags I've ever seen. They pull off some insane strats, and they are not afraid to go to the less conventional picks.
100%. Those gamers able to show us some very unusual frags sometimes, to say the very least. Some of the unexpected clutches that came about from pretty much all of them. And look, to me, I'd have to say, for once, this roster is a very able one, and each and every one of them can perform on the solo level as well.
Yeah, but their opponents here tonight, Overt. They are a beast unto their own. They came through the group stage second overall, 11-3. Serenity, Chloe, Peepo, L, and Cats. Another team of incredibly capable fraggers. They can do a lot of work in those clutch situations. And look, they have a pretty solid fan base as well. I know Al has some international fans that might be tuning in tonight to cheer her on. But the big question is, can her ping stay stable long enough for it to actually play a round out?
Yeah, that's definitely a huge question really here, because previously for L, it's been a bit of an unfortunate turnout as of recently. So we'll have to see how things will really unravel, how things will really go here for them. But honestly, going into this matchup, they are probably a tiny bit better, or rather, tiny bit more preferred by the crowd, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've also got to remember the HSP factor, the holy smokes Peepo factor that could come into play. Peepo has had some of the most bizarre, magical moments in this tournament when she's been there, been casted on the mainstream, even on the B stream, from what I hear. She just pulls out the weird and wonderful, and it's such a pleasure to watch. But tonight, is she going to be able to do it? Is it going to be Quack? We don't know. But one of those processes that we need to go through to figure out how to answer that question is obviously going to be that map ban phase. 3 maps played tonight, so it is obviously going to be slightly different to what we had through that group stage. There's any number of possibilities. Do we see the likes of Chalet? Do we see Coastline? Do we see Frag heavy, Strat heavy? Honestly, it could go anywhere.
Yeah, look, I definitely think that both of the teams could really pull out some very unconventional map picks and map bans really here, given the fact that, well, this is kind of the time to really get the big strat book out and get all the huge plays. If the initial stage of the playoffs may have been memed out a little bit, this is the one where they need to really make sure that they nail their plays, they nail their performances, and nail their map picks and bans. But let us indeed have a look what is going to be the case, because I believe, well, the maps, are going to be a little bit less exciting than one would have expected. At the very least, we do get to start things off on a Cafe Dostoevsky.
Villa, Coastline, Chalet, Consulate, Bandout. So yeah, Cafe first, then we head to Clubhouse. Quacked territory, their pick. They start on the attack, which, I mean, they have proved themselves incredibly capable in the attack. And then Oregon to close it out. 3 reasonably strat-intensive maps where these teams can shine, show off their coordination, show their capabilities. Look, the question that I'm posing to you. Map 1, Quack start on the defense. It's on Cafe. Do we see them run away with it? But then the alternate question, are we going to see Overt do the same on Clubhouse? Could we see these teams trade map picks?
I definitely think that might be the case. Given the fact that Quack do start things off on a defense for Cafe, it is going to make things a little bit easier for them to gain some points, albeit, look, from my memory, Soy back in, I believe that was season 3 or season 4, back in the days, clutching out on Thatcher was her forte, like crazy, like no matter what. 1v5, 1v4, all good, no worries. And if she can channel that kind of performance here, I definitely think that, look, Quack might just be able to pull a very quick, a cheeky win here on the Cafe.
I mean, there's a lot of interesting, especially if we go to the likes of Oregon, which is, I mean, we've seen Diana pick up the blitz on a map like that. I think she got a triple kill in one round. We see the odd, the bizarre, the weird and wonderful come out. And these 3 maps are maps where these teams can do that. So I'm expecting some of those off-meta picks, some slightly, different strategies coming through. But it's 3 structurally reasonably intensive maps that need to be played here. Cafe, I'm kind of excited for this. I'm excited to see Cafe to start things off. This is where, honestly, we could see crazy runouts, spawn picks, all that come into play, and I'm so ready for it. We are just going to be waiting for those R's in chat. And look, Cthulhu, what's your prediction? What do you reckon? Do we see map picks traded? Do we go to map 3, or do you reckon it's just going to be a complete whitewash?
Part of me wants to say that this has a huge possibility of a 2-1 scoreline, that we go full 3 maps and see pretty much overtimes on borderline all 3 of them. But part of me also thinks that maybe Overt might actually come out of this with a 2-0 as well. If they play their cards right on Cafe and get started on the attack on Cafe in the first half very quickly, they might just be able to get things underway really quick. And if they're able to shut down the whole momentum of Quack, because the Quack are very, very much momentum reliant, they could definitely just pretty much steal away the whole grand final from them.
I mean, it's also worth noting that 2 of the 3 losses that Overt suffered were at the hands of Quack, and they were on Clubhouse and Oregon. So that does tend to tip the scales just a little bit. There wasn't a huge, an incredible amount of Cafe Dostoevsky played this season. It was not on the mainstream, unfortunately. Sometimes that is just the way the map ban goes. And, well, coming into this, it's reasonably untested territory for both teams. So it's going to be interesting to see whether we get that high level of aggression that we have become accustomed to from both these teams. Like I said, I am expecting spawn picks. I am expecting runouts. I'm expecting some bullying. That I'm just going to say it. I'm expecting some bullying tonight. I don't know which team it's going to come from. It could be a blitz on the attack. It could be a clash on the defense. It could be, a triple jump out outside of piano. It just could go anywhere.
Yeah, look, I will be surprised if either one of the teams will try to play a very reserved gameplay for themselves, because it will be obviously a change of pace for themselves, and it will be making the job for the opposing team very easy, because both of them are, like you said, very much reliant on the aggression. So I will be surprised if we won't be seeing anything huge or anything kind of just out of nowhere, kind of those spawn peaks. So we're just waiting for one more member of Quack to join in, because unfortunately the PC difficulties did unfortunately occur. But I've been told that loading gaming now, and that's a direct quotation from the lobby chat. So once we get the player in, we'll get things underway. Cafe, look, I definitely think scoreline wise, I think it is still going to be 7-5. The question is just, I'm not too sure which side it will be towards.
Yeah, look, I'm quickly going back through our history of maps played by both these teams. I'm not seeing any Cafe Dostoevsky. Okay, no, so Skyfire beat Radical on it 7-2 in round 13 of the competition, which is the only time it has been played by either of these two teams. So I have to give the advantage to Ovett. They've played it one more time than Quack. So I do believe this is going to be a 2-1. I reckon this is going to go full distance. 2 overtimes is my prediction. I reckon that's where we're going to go. So I reckon the team that wins it, they're going to win map 1 in overtime. Map 2 is probably going to be like a 7-3, and then they're going to come back in the decider and win it in overtime there. So look, I could be wrong. My predictions are not always 100%. I did predict Invictus Gaming to win the Mexico Major, and they've been eliminated. I also.
So what you're saying with your caster curse, we are going 3 overtimes, full 3 maps, and the third map ends on literally like 0.01 second.
Yeah, basically every single round is going to be played until the last 10 seconds, and then that's when things kick off. So we're going to go, full 4 hours if we can possibly manage it.
No, lordy. Yeah, look, that is a possibility that I'm definitely not looking away from, and both of these teams could very much pull that off. I would imagine, albeit maybe if it does get to map 3 after say 2 overtimes, or even one of the overtimes on say map number 2, the question of fatigue is definitely going to be a huge one there for both of the rosters, I would imagine. So we are just double checking, because there've been continuous crashing into the lobby. So maybe we might just go on a bit of a quick break, maybe get ourselves sorted, and hopefully by the time we come back, we shall be back with well, at the very least, the working lobby and the working game client for the gamers.
Like, unfortunately, it wouldn't be a Rainbow Six Siege tournament in ANZ if there wasn't some sort of technical issues here. So it's all a quick break. Once we're ready to go, we'll bring you back live and see how this grand final plays out. So don't go anywhere, it won't be too long.
about you. You've moved on like I'm about to. Cause you don't really mean Cause you don't really need love. Give me something to hold you. I can't help but think about you. You've moved on like I'm about to. Cause you don't really need my love.
Well, this might be karma for pranking the Women's League community the way I did, but look, it took us a while. We're getting in. Cthulhu, Cafe Dostoevsky up first. Quacked versus Avert for the grand finals. Kicking things off, though. Quacked on the defense. What do you reckon we see in the ban phase?
Oh, in the ban phase, I reckon we may be seeing a little bit of a cheeky trolling at the very least. The cats get
Cats
GM.
is a little bit mad.
Good. Look, Thatcher to be banned out, something that we've expected, but in the current meta, until we get somebody, well, firstly until we get the new season, and secondly until we get Osa into the fray, I definitely think that there's not going to be a whole lot of things to really mention here, and well, there's not going to be a whole lot of changes from here. I'm assuming Jackal is going to be the next one to be banned out, and well, poked it right.
There we go. It's about the hunt. Don't want the Spaniard in. I would imagine we might even see that paired with the mirror as well, the double Spaniard ban, which is not totally uncommon. Nah, we won't worry about him. Chat doesn't really care. Look, whatever. Whatever. It's it is what it is. Crips is hitting hard here today, and there we go. The double Spaniard. AJ, calm down. All right, chill. There's no need to do the poor bloke like that. Final ban coming through. What do you reckon? I'm imagining something like a Velk.
Yeah, Valk could be a huge,
Jeepers.
big peak.
There is some
Him.
bullying going on in the server. Look,
Yeah,
I called
okay.
it, and I called
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
There's going to be some bullying today.
Yeah, look, definitely. Bullying is definitely going to be done, whether it's on the players or possible viewers. That's a whole different tangent that we could probably go on. But look, regardless, both of these operators on the defense are very viable and very powerful on a map like Cafe Dostoevsky, so it's definitely a solid choice to get them out of the equation. Apart from that, really, it still keeps the opportunities very much open for both rosters, whether it's on defense or on the offense, and Reading Room and Fireplace is going to be the first site to really be played out. Overall, looking at the picks, I like what Chloe is doing. I definitely like where this is going, but against Wamai and Jaeger, things may go haywire.
Well, look,
Attackers
we
need
will
to
have to
locate
see
and
how it
defuse
plays out.
as
We've
many
seen,
bombs as
like
they
I said,
can.
the weird and wonderful does tend to come out when both of these teams play. And as we head into things, yeah, look, it's not every day that you start the sandwich by eating it from the middle, but that's exactly what's happening here. Reading Room Fireplace, we are going to see that the vertical spread. I would imagine we are going to see that extension up towards Cocktail and Bar as well, which is why you see the likes of the Goyo, the Mute Mozzie combo as well, plus the Wamai and Jaeger just to deny utility, deny information, make it that much harder for Overt to confirm positions and utility. This is going to come down to fragging potential. Overt are going to have to play off hunches, look for those kills, and try and make it work.
Indeed. So far, look, we're looking at a very heavy upstairs setup.
Attackers must locate
More
and defuse the
borderline
bomb.
Quack trying to sell Overt on thinking that the site is actually upstairs, but I believe the drones just managed to confirm that there is barely any kind of utility. So if Overt do decide to make a rush, say, into Reading, this could actually work out pretty well, given the fact that, well, Bill, I don't think I've seen any of my discs. I don't think I've seen any of the Jaeger devices downstairs, so Time for Pie may be in for a bit of a very rude time if Overt decides to play things very much aggressively.
Well, Repel's already starting up, as you would expect. No cheeky nitro cell attempts through the hatches. We don't do that sort of thing here in the Women's League. We're a bit more dignified than certain other ANZ sections. But already Overt going to work, getting
Attackers
those
have
avenues
located a
open,
bomb.
the drone work as well on top of it. They are looking for options. AJ and Serenity obviously gone to town on each other just a little bit. Some damage, but nothing overly significant. They're still in it, still ready to go. But Crips, swats the player on the Jenny, runs back down White and carries on Cats. That could have been two big frags either way.
Well, Chloe is the one to kick things off and already full sending, and that's AJ out of the equation. The Mozzie that was trying to be all sneaky beaky up around the red stairs gets absolutely trashed, and out goes Serenity to try to go in for the push, but Reddy realizes that the information is there, but the Candela actually goes in. This could be huge.
Cam is going to look to be dealt with there. Breaching round does connect. So less information available. Not going to signal the pull off of those positions though. Time for Pie playing from below. Nitro Cell toss. That's not going to find much of anything, but those vert angles can now be utilized by Quack on the defense. Still no real heavy engagements. We've seen the one frag as we head towards that final minute of play, but these defensive positions still in place. Diana still could hold this off.
Yeah, Serenity going in for the push. A little bit more blind than she probably would have wanted, but Ella is the one to, actually, pardon me, Peepo is the one to find a frag. Another one to go in for the swing. That's Diana and Soy crossfire. That worked out perfectly well. And the grenade right now, oh, no, could have been cooked up by Cats, but decides for the better of it, and Chloe's the one to overpower Diana.
Felled now on Cocktail. 40 seconds left. The camp still in play. Has been feeding that info through. Time for Pie spots the back of one, but can't confirm. L does get picked up here, and the roof will start to come apart above them. Soy playing towards Train. Cats tagged up. This is going to be a close run thing. They either need to find the two frags or force onto the site and try and hold those fires. Time is desperately bleeding away here.
Yeah, with Soy picking up yet another frag onto Chloe, that is slowly all those chances just dwindling away, really trying to find some form of an opening, but right now it's time for Pie as well. It's her time to really make the play, make the push right now. But
Oh,
no,
no.
it doesn't land. The shot actually does land with the shotgun. Needs to whip it out, but oh, Peepo.
Oh, no, Peepo.
Oh,
There's
Peepo.
no time.
Oh, Peepo.
No, it's all come apart there for Overt. From
Oh,
the
my.
4v2 to the 2v2 down to the 2v1. And despite a bit of a whiff, it still comes together for Quack. Pulled back from the brink here in round 1. And that is a tilter. That is a huge tilter for the Overt camp.
I would definitely be imagining that Cats is already in the voice chat saying, "Oh, why can't I get the frag? Oh, why didn't it connect?" Meanwhile, Time for Pi is just probably lost for her words as to how did she survive that.
Look, to be fair, you and I have both cast situations where it turns out the Rainbow Six devs have replaced, unassuming regular furniture with bulletproof furniture, and it negates every single shot that would have been pumped into it. But yeah, I think just a bit of a whiff, a bit of nerves coming into the first round, obviously with the problems in the lobby at the start, probably throwing Overt off just a little bit. Look, round 2, this is where they need to start bringing things back. They need to refocus and reset. As we head to the 3rd floor, drone work is going to have to be key. They're going to have to set themselves up, probably take control of Piano early if they want a chance of the plant, because we saw what happens when they don't get themselves in position with time to work.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
Oh, we'll have to see what kind of play will be brought on board here, because there is slight change in the roster of the operators for Quack, bringing in the smoke rather than a mute for the top stairs defense, as well as that a few very curious alterations to the site with the usage of the Aruni gates as well as the Jaeger ADSs to protect the shield. So quite a double down kind of setup for the fallback positions for some of the defenders, but we yet to see any kind of presence in the Piano, which pardon me, I just found one, but it won't be really netting a whole lot bar a few tilting bits of damage onto Peepo.
Well, we have yet to see HSP, holy smokes, Peepo, come into play just yet. Playing a little bit reserved on flank watch here for the attack, so I mean we've seen players around the world on flank watch go absolutely off, but it's still early days. Still only round 2 of this best of 3, and map 1 as well, mind you, so still plenty of time for that to happen. So far though, Overt looking to cover their bases, looking to establish those angles that they need to contest a plant on the site, but it's when that resistance does come up and meet them as to whether or not they can make it happen.
Definitely. Cats right now very frantically trying to figure out if she's being watched or not, or if anyone is preparing any kind of C4s. At the moment you look at the lineup of Overt, they are looking a little bit disconnected from each other. All of them are still trying to find their own kind of pressure points, and right now with a solo push from Serenity, she is trying to find an opening for herself, maybe find an opening, well, for the rest of the team, but only so far find some damage onto Soy and on herself. So this is going to be a little bit more of a difficult situation for the attack, but for Quack, this is so far looking very much promising. I'll definitely have to say that.
Siege is a game that's almost as much about timing as it is about skill. If you can't find the angle at the right time, it's not going to count for much, and unfortunately, Serenity finds herself coming off second best time for Pi. Still cool, calm, and collected. Gonna get hit with the white screen there. She plays in washrooms. Has support, creeps with the yokai, smoke canister, thrown through the Aruni gate and lets it reset as well. 1 minute just under left on the clock, and this is a tight position, but Diana there in support catches out Chloe, and she has been dropped into the snow below. And all of a sudden, Time for Pi can breathe a sigh of relief.
Oh, not just yet. Serenity is doing her best to get rid of that position. Oh my lord. She kept on pre-firing. She could have actually found that frag, but right now it gets a little bit of a scary revelation that there's yet another angle to really peek at. And whilst Elle did manage to find a shot for herself, this is still 20 seconds remain. The push needs to start happening. Already the Wobs are starting to do the work. Serenity is down.
She gets a bit greedy looking for that angle. It's Time for Pi, but Cats is able to find that kill onto AJ. Big spray from the big KT. Drops the diffuser in the middle of the site. The bar is open as well for a third as Peepo sticks her head out. She's farming. Quack takes second round, but this time it is decisive.
There we go. KT just getting things underway, getting things sorted. That angle worked so very well for her, and she kept it clean on her sprays. So 2-0 so far in favor of Quack. Then look, it is definitely looking very promising for them so far, but only 2 rounds lead is not the full game, so we'll have to see how will they be able to keep up with the overall pace. But yet again, we do see a few more changes on the operator roster. And that is now the introduction of both now Mute and Smoke, with a bit of a bait to make Overt think that the Clash is being brought on board.
Defenders,
Just want to
protect your
say,
bombs from
rip
being
old
defused
formal
by
casting,
attackers.
an old workmate of mine from the League of Legends casting days. Put 2K on Overt, and he's not feeling overly confident with his predictions in the chat at the moment. So, look, buddy, it might be an unfortunate thing here, depending if this map carries on the way it is. But look, I mean, it's worth remembering. Crips T, famously the player who clutched up a 1v1 versus Shaq, of all players, in the Oceanic Challenger League qualifiers at the start of the year. So there can be no doubt in her capabilities. And when you just funnel through
10
one by
seconds to
one
go.
and give her kills like that, she is going to take them.
Yeah, she will gladly accept those tributes, really, for her and for her team. And look, we've been saying that, yeah, maybe Overt are going into this matchup as a bit slight favorites. But Quack so far have shown us that they are a very scary team to play against no matter what. And even with the fact that, yeah, during the group stage, or rather, yeah, well, the regular season, we've seen them, unfortunately for them, take a loss 7-5 fashion. They were still able to show us absolutely phenomenal rounds. You look at each one of their positions. I've semi-roasted Overt last round, saying that they are very much disconnected. This one also looks in a very similar position, but Quack so far managed to prove us that they are a very able bunch to play in a very organized or even as solo players.
Well, speaking of solo, Soy is going to be the first one tagged up this round. Still alive on the Malusi with that MP5, still playing around VIP. So it's not impossible that she could potentially find a frag in the remainder of the round, but it makes it just that much harder at the end of the day. Round 3, yeah, look, we've seen a pretty chaotic round, a bit of a messy round to start things off, and then a pretty decisive round for Quack in the second. Now in round 3, this is where Overt needs to start getting some rounds on the board. It is an unfortunate trait for a lot of ANZ teams that they do tend to take 3-4 rounds to get rolling before they actually start to build up that head of steam. So it could be the case. It could be that Overt are just taking that little bit longer to get themselves into this.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Look at that angle. Chloe holding down a very cheeky angle, borderline Nico style, right onto the red stairs, and will be ready to blast anyone that tries to go in for a flank. So far, though, not good for her, good for Quack. Nobody is really planning to really come upstairs. All 5 players have actually managed to default back to the ground floor, so for now it's more so a question of who will be able to outpeak, and so far, time for Pi. Well, it's her time indeed.
I mean, time for Pi 404. Kill not found, unfortunately, for Cats, who relegated to drone duty with 45 seconds left to play. Soy is playing around Prep, just looking to be a nuisance, trying to deter that push. Somehow is able to sneak back through Prep, not being punished with this vertical threat already established here by Chloe. Bit of a misplay, bit of a miscommunication. So it does mean there is more presence on the site. 5 players still capable of gunning out. 25 seconds left to place Serenity. In a great spot if she can find anything. Just a little pick. There we go. Shots on the time for Pi, but she returns the favor. Is still alive. Soy repositioning towards Rice. Jumping up into the counter. Time for Pi is looking for anything. She wants to be able to contest this. This opening in the bakery wall. This is about to get scary. The push through. It's just fed on in time for Pi finds one. But look at that. The kill's just funneling through for Quack. It is down to Peepo. And unfortunately, Soy, despite being tagged up huge early, locks it down from Rice, and Quack will carry on with a 3-round streak.
There we go. Quack doing absolutely phenomenal job for themselves. Another 3rd round and no real response from Overt. Borderline making me think that maybe not enough prep has been put into this, and maybe some more cheeky strats are now being relied on. But maybe this time, maybe round 4 is where we are going to be seeing some changes, given the fact that Peepo is bringing in a line, Chloe's bringing in a Ying, so we are doubling down on that very aggressive burst push. But as I say that, Chloe, why do you have to just toy with my emotions at this point?
I mean, I do rate it. Capital is notoriously an operator that plays very, very well into Cafe Dostoevsky. The bolts, the smokes, the asphyxiating bolts. I mean, if you can time it right, if you can clear out that utility, he can be an absolute powerhouse in flushing out defenders from those defensive positions. And I think this might even be a case of Overt. Remember what happened last time they attacked this site? The duel, the crossfire that we set up on Cocktail was just so lethal. And I think that's why we see this Capital coming in. You want to be able to flush out players from behind the bars. You want to be able to stop that from happening once again. But it's a case of execution not matching the plan, because so far, Quack are storming through map 1.
10 seconds to insertion.
100%. Look, I mean, if anything,
5 seconds left.
the Mexico Major taught us that the Capital with an LMG in the hands of any APAC player is an immensely dangerous piece of equipment. But unfortunately for Chloe, she is running the dinky Pyro 308, but we're not going to talk about that. Instead, look, I definitely have to agree with you. Capital is still a very viable, very able operator to just absolutely blast things off and pretty much, well, shut down quite a whole lot of positions and a whole lot of even vision points. So definitely a solid decision, and pairing him with the rest of the lineup is still looking like quite a fiesta being brewed up.
Prepping the bar, the balcony. May even look for a drop down to Reading should she need to get back onto the site and reposition. But I mean, look, we've seen Overt shut down 3 rounds in a row. They haven't been able to find themselves any real footing inside the building. They get themselves in that position to execute, but time's not there, angle's not there. They haven't cleared out the positions they need to. So what is the change that needs to come? What do they need to do to be able to break this streak?
I mean, really, it's just it borderline seems like they are just losing out on their own gunfights, really. And then once they start losing out on some of the positions, they just drop all the communication, all the coordination, and just play more so for solo picks, which is exactly playing into the hand of Quack. And for Quack, really, the moment they lose some of their bigger performers like Crips T, like this could mean possibly later on a few more issues, although Soy magically still is able to avoid majority of the damage, but about to be swung on and downed, but not out just yet.
I don't know if that was an attempt to try to bait the sound of the drop through the hatch or what, but she gets caught down. I mean, there's a possibility she gets picked up, but it could just be a bait at the end of the day, given the vert angles they're set up. Nitro could be huge here. Big damage onto Alice. Spray is not going to be able to confirm the kill on Soy. It seems will be just left to it. No, Diana runs into Laundry, goes to the Nitro cell, is going to back them off so they can pick up Soy. We're back in a 4 versus 5 Cthulhu. This could happen.
Yeah, this could very much happen. And with yet another scan from EU1D coming about, more damage is being dealt to Overt. Really, it's, whilst they do have the player advantage, it is not looking particularly too favorable. Time for Pi, if she is able to manage her time here, this could be absolutely huge from her. But right now, Peepo is literally a few steps away from finding the dome piece of Time for Pi, and that will be a huge shutdown, given the fact that Time for Pi was able to bring in a few very much banger performances.
Time for Pi just very much focused on that tree door. Is going to find Chloe regardless. Serenity looking to swing, dies to her as well. She goes down, but AJ and Diana find 2 more. It is Cats in the 1v3. 2 seconds left. Hasn't got the diffuser. AJ finishes it off. Quacked are just dominating.
Yeah. Overt just falling apart at the moment's notice, and it seems like even on some of the flanks they just not really either communicating quick enough, or they don't have enough of the flank watch utility, which seems to be pretty much punishing them very quickly. The moment Peepo swung and downed only Time for Pi, Diana was already there to shut her down and pretty much take her out of the equation. It's maybe the fact that Overt partially maybe psyched them themselves out throughout this matchup, but yeah, look, right now it's definitely, it's not the Overt that we so grown accustomed to see But for Quacked, oh man, are they looking so good?
I mean, Time for Pi is going into round 5 deathless at the moment.
There we go.
She
Yeah.
has yet to be dropped, and she has still found the most frags in the server. So it's
Most
not
frags
for lack,
and the assists as well.
not for lack of trying has she not been killed. In fact, you know what? She has been involved in 13 frags combined. Her team has 13 frags, so it's her you know, at the moment her impact is pretty high. She's doing quite well for the team, and if she carries on, I wouldn't be surprised if we see it completely deathless here at map 1. But it is still early days. Obviously, it's still Cafe Dostoevsky. There's still potential for any number of comebacks here, but the way Quack are playing this, I mean, look, crushed underfoot is probably the closest I think you could come to the description.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the ways to describe this, because it definitely looks like Quack did put a phenomenal amount of effort into prepping this, into scrimming, into getting ready for all of this. Meanwhile, for Overt, it just, yeah, look, they have the strats, they have the setups, they know which angles to contest. It's just, it feels like they don't have the confidence to just peek those and to swing them around and take them down, really, because, like you said, Time for Pi being deathless on round number 5 with a 4-0 lead, and starting off her first round with a borderline a miracle of her survival is one way to really describe this.
Well, round 5, we've seen a minute 10 played, and once again we're seeing that passiveness come into play. No one dice. I say it, it's cursed. And Diana will find the first frag. Serenity falls, no Iana, no Gemini. Limited utility. Diana still just
Bomb has been located.
absolutely untouched right now. They know, they have an idea. She is going to go for that quick re-peek, but this is a dangerous spot for her to be in. Too far to the right, she can be found from the skylight. Too far to the left, and if she can't take that gunfight, she could find herself fragged. Even the cocktail balcony window. This is a risky play.
Well, the risky play does get punished at the end. Chloe is the one to find that frag, but look, gotta say, the fact that she was able to stay around that position for so long is already a bit of a miracle. This time, though, we do see Overt finally going for a bit more contested flank and a bit more coordinated push. We have just about 3 people now in the minibar, and some presence in the cigar shop. If there was a C4 from below, this would be a devastating loss for them right now.
I mean, a devastating loss in the operators alone. You lost a Rooney, who's already set up a utility. I mean, yeah, she can punch stuff, but it's not really going to be hugely relevant in the gunfight. As opposed to the no Gemini, no frag grenades, nothing left in, but AJ playing dangerous games here in backstock. It's about to be whack-a-mole. But it's a question of, is the mole going to be whacked, or is she going to catch out the person swinging that hammer? X-Kyra is out, will open the wall even further into backstock. So now it's a dangerous angle. But Time for Pi in there for support. Soy helps out Chloe for one. Time for Pi for another one. And Soy just stops it. Then Time for Pi dies for the first time this match. Cats will answer back with a follow-up onto AJ. But Soy is there. When one player falls, another will take her place. And Quacks are up 5-0.
5-0. Look, we've talked about this in a pre-show, saying either this is going to be an absolutely stunning performance on map number 1 from Quacked, or it is going to be absolutely shut down by Overt. And so far, it seems like the first prediction came to fruition so far. 5-0 is a phenomenal already scoreline. Not even for the fact that they would be pretty much only 2 rounds away from catching probably one of the cleanest dubs in this season, but it's also applying so much pressure onto Overt, because think of it this way: people already posted on socials that they've been putting some incredible amount. Well, I've seen it was stated as 2K, but I'm not too sure if it's the actual dollar reduced in shekels. I hope it's just the channel points. I genuinely hope that this is channel points and not the real money, because if you are betting on this, just Why?
Well, just to give you an idea of the disparity in the bets. So, 64,000 points were spent on Overt. 223,000 points were placed on Quacked at the beginning of the match. So, confidence is there on the side of the Quack fans. But look, we've seen crazier things happen. It is still Rainbow Six Siege, and just because you're up 5-0 does not mean that you will end the map having picked up that victory. Round 6 is going to be decisive, though. If Overt can pick themselves up around, obviously they can start that comeback. But if Quacked win it, only one more round needs to be found. But this is, look, Overt, they need to change something up.
Well, we'll have to see if they will be able to change that very thing in this round. Otherwise, they will have to wait till the defense comes about, and even then, they are going to be put at a huge pressure where they won't really be able to afford losing any kind of defense rounds. But so, funnily enough, Serenity just full sends it with the hologram. Won't be finding any presence just yet, so this is a good amount of information. And that should allow Over to just flat out full send it straight down to the second floor, which would have been the ideal turnout for Time for Pi, as she is waiting for people to start jumping down towards the red stairs, but no action just yet. It is going to be still a very thorough sweep on top floor, which will be wasting just about above a minute.
Well, again, these rounds have been very deep. We're getting deeper and deeper in the rounds. We have yet to see a single frag. There's a lot of longevity to Cafe Dostoevsky so far. Unfortunately, it's mostly in the favor of Quack. Heading to the second half of the final round of the half as well. This is where things get a bit risky. Overt have already shown they struggle just that little bit with time management. They find the inability to execute with enough time to comfortably go for a plant, as we're Anson Soy taking down the Vert threat of Cats instantly, removing the sledge. Now it is in the hands of Chloe to try and provide that vertical, but no frag grenades, no SMG-11, no sledgehammer. This is looking dire.
Exactly. Yeah, look, getting rid of Cats is a huge, huge play. And right now, Serenity could actually make a huge play. That frag grenade flies in, but AJ is the one to actually find the frag, covers her smoke player very well for the bar. And right now in a 3v5, oh boy, it is not looking too pretty. Serenity throws in yet another frag grenade, but that gets caught out as well. And right now it's, well, they're now left with just all down to their own weapons, really. Not a whole lot of utility and not a whole lot of time, as a matter of fact. 30 seconds remaining. And the people does go down. It's all down to Serenity. Ellie tries to make the last-ditch effort, but they are locked in the garage so tightly.
I mean, Quack ended the round robin 14-0. They then won their semi-final 2-0. So they are currently 16-0, about to be 17. Serenity, the last one alive, a 1v4 with 6 seconds. Oh boy. Diana is just going to get absolutely whopped up by the G36, but Time for Pi, prone in the freezer, M590 in hand, just absolutely dominates the half, and it has been Time for Pi at the bow of the ship. As we go into the half, Overt onto the defense, it needs to be another 6-0 half traded back to take us to overtime and a chance for Overt to pick up their own map pick here.
There we go. Correct. Doing just absolute magic. Look, really is borderline living up to their name. They are quite quacked on this very map so far, at the very least. 6-0, and it doesn't look like their train is planning to stop anytime soon, really. Bar and Cocktail Lounge is going to be possibly the first and the last defense position where Over will get to play on Cafe in this season. And look, I'm liking what Quacked are bringing in here. They are bringing, well, so far quite a plentiful amount of soft breach with a spice of the floors as well. Inside of Overt, a very well-structured lineup as well that should allow plenty ability to hold down, to drain the utility, and to provide the defense a utility of their own.
I mean, coming into this round, round 7, not a single player on Overt is positive. In fact, the best KD is 4-6 on the side of Cats. On the side of Quack, Time for Pi is currently sporting a 9.0 KD And if she does not die this round, it will only inflate.
There we go.
Attackers
Soy
are
as well
heading
is
out.
following her up with a 9-2 KD ratio, which is actually
Yeah,
looking
9
pretty
for
solid.
it, 4.5. Look, there's a pretty big jump.
Yeah, look, won't argue with that one. The numbers definitely show who is the better gamer so far, but right now maybe, just maybe, Overt might have a solid chance at just pulling off some also big upsets, because right now AG already took a solid one shot from a shotgun off Chloe.
I mean, we've seen what players on Quack can do in tagged up PvP. I mean, Soy spent an entire round on 20 health and still found some big frags. Nitro cell attempt onto that one corridor window. L in trouble, has to jump into backstock, having lost almost 70 health in that exchange with the Vulcan shield right next to her. So already Quack have tipped the table once again. Utility dump towards backstop to enable that push on through. We see the Flores, we haven't even talked about it. It's now mainstay here in the Women's League. So it's good to see once again Crips T already opening up angles, already enabling them to go for that push and that plant. And there's so much time left.
Exactly, yeah, already very quick entry into the building. Time for Pi to just solidify on her position. That is interesting. Set up all the Claymore to say the very least, but look, I would imagine that this does blend in pretty well with the carpet, so good effort. Right now there is some presence though from the below. Cats could make a huge upset here if she plays her card right.
No
I believe
Nitro. I don't know. No, I
Maybe
think
it's
it
a
was
pre-placed.
committed. It may be, but I remember someone. Actually, no, that was close. Sorry, but oh no, Gemini is going to be shot out, so that will give away the position of someone. Serenity is going to be down. AJ knows that there is someone around. Serenity picked up there by Peepo. Keeps it at an even 5-5, but the health bars are starting to look bleak for Overt.
Exactly, yeah. Another bit of droning is being commenced here by Quag. 45 seconds is definitely not looking particularly too favorable. She does see Soy. She does see the Wamai and does shut her down. That's another one. Time for Pi gets into a bit of a gunfight from the cocktail lounge, but he gets to stay alive for a little bit
Is she going to save
longer.
KD? Is she
And
going to
that's-
save KD?
That's definitely going to be a big question.
Utility dump on through. Diana is on the plant, top white. She's going to spray down. It's a 10th. It's a 5v1. Peepo, can she
No
clutch
way.
up? No! It's an 11th kill for Time for Pi in a flawless round to boot. Map 1 ends with
My God.
Time for Pi sporting an 11.0 KD in a 7-0 map.
Jeez Louise. That is one way to do it, though. Quacked. Continuing their domination here. 11-11. Time for Pi and Soy leading the charge here. Whereas Overt left pretty much inhaling the dust, really, here. No chance whatsoever. And look, it's only the map number 1. And if we are breezing past this in this kind of fashion, I'm quite curious what is going to happen at Clubhouse.
I mean, it was night and day difference. I mean, you look at Overt. The helicopters on bank. Trust me, go and look after I made this analogy. Helicopters on bank. I mean, Quacked, helicopters on skyscraper. They were moving with some agency. Overt, stood stock still. Like it didn't matter. No matter what they did, Quacked had an answer. They have come into this match hugely prepared. And yeah, if that's how Cafe, which is Overt's map pick, mind you, goes, Clubhouse could be, I'll put it this way, maybe not family friendly.
Look, yeah, I definitely would imagine that if the tilt does settle in, it may not get a little bit too family friendly. But at this point, I'm all for it. At this point, just let your emotions go wild, because this is exactly where all the tension is happening. All the tension is rising right now. And for Overt, look, for them and for their fans, it's a little bit of a high blood pressure type situation.
Well, Look, I didn't expect this to be. The stream's been live for an hour 20, and we've spent 40 minutes of that just getting into the damn game. But look, map 1 is done. Cafe Dostoevsky has been played out. Quack, you can see it on your screen. They've absolutely monstered their way through it, not dropping a single round. They are now 17-0 in this competition. Can Overt equalize and take us to the decider? We won't know until we come back from a break. We are going to take one quickly now. We'll get us ready to go into Clubhouse. So make sure you guys get yourselves hydrated, grab yourself a snack. Be back soon. Well, unfortunately, Overt lose out on map 1, but it's easy to argue that the biggest loser of that is, unfortunately, Max Formal Von Neumann, who bet all 2K of his channel points on Overt and is not going to get any single returns on it. But Cthulhu, a 7-0 monstering out of Quack. We do have the match breakdown, so we can take a deeper dive into the actual numbers of how Cafe Dostoevsky played out. And look, I'll be perfectly honest. If you are an Overt fan or staff member, please look away now. This is not a pretty sight.
Yeah, not really family-friendly site either, given the fact of just how much of a butchering was dished out by Quack on Cafe. Look, you've mentioned before, Time for Pi did an absolutely stunning job. Soy followed up with 11-2 KD, and you look at Time for Pi, we didn't really touch up on that either. 9 assists as well on top of her 11 frags. So not only she was borderline carrying half of the match rounds on her back, she also participated in the majority of the frags throughout her whole team.
Yeah, well, she you take Diana and Crips T, she was assisting in both of their kills combined. So it's big stuff, honestly. Very concerning if you're Overt, especially given that it was their map pick. But you look at the numbers on their side. Not a single player positive. Cats is the closest with 4 kills to the 7 deaths. Unfortunate result. But look, it is only the first map of a best of 3. There is that opportunity to bounce back. Clubhouse could be an entirely different story. Unfortunately, it is worth mentioning that it's Quack's map pick. So this look, I want to be a believer. I do. I want to be a believer. I want to see this go to a third map. I think that Overt being on the defense first is their biggest asset, and they need to take a big half. I'm not talking 3-3. I'm talking 4-2, 5-1. They need to storm through map 2. They need to take us to Oregon. Look, let's not waste any time. Let's get there. Let's see if they can do it. We'll go to the lovely flyover, have a cheeky look through Clubhouse, even though this is the night version. It's not like that in the actual map. But look, there is a lot that could go wrong. We have seen, honestly, not a lot out of Overt. We didn't get to see a huge amount of what they're capable of. In fact, I would say that we didn't get to see any of what they're capable of because they were so heavily shut down. But it's a fresh start. They're going in. We're just, of course, it's Quacked. We're waiting on them. They're just, no, it is what it is. It's Rainbow Six. Sometimes it just takes a little bit longer to get into the game. But yeah, I mean, look, Cthulhu, come in. You're the big brain. You're the big brain Rainbow Six man here in this broadcast. You're coming into Clubhouse. You've just lost Cafe. What are you saying between the maps, and what is your game plan coming into Clubhouse?
For this one, it is a very much of a, well, for Overt, they need to just completely discard what happened to them in the first map. Running into Clubhouse, this is the map that they've played quite a fair bit previously as well themselves. Their opponents played it quite frequently as well, and I think at this point they just need to realize that, hey, Quack are very proactive about their positions. They never been really locked in their own positions, and they're always on the move. They do acknowledge very well how powerful Flores can be, and this is a very good decision for them to ban him out, given the fact, though, it's in general a pretty solid idea to ban out Flores on quite a fair few of the maps. But right now, yeah, it's literally just as long as they're able to fix up their mental game, this is where they will flourish. And looking at the ban so far, Quack looks sticking to very kind of very standardized bans, it doesn't seem to be really phasing them. And in general, well, getting Thatcher out of the equation does help. But Jaeger gone means you are stuck with Wamai, which means that if you are playing on a very momentum-based swing, if you very early start, say, contesting something like Garage, Wamai doesn't have a whole lot of utility to really play against. So this is going to be absolutely crucial right now for them to be able to take the Garage early on, get the push happen, and then roll from there, because if they don't, well, it's still a very workable situation, and it does half essentially what you can do for defense with the grenades. But overall, this is a huge possible blow to Overt as well.
I mean, yeah, you've got the Arena as well, but look, they leave Maverick up, and honestly, I would say this without a doubt. Quacked have two of the best Maverick players in the competition, and Cripsty, and I say two because I remember distinctly Diana playing it, if not this season, then last season. But, I mean, look, I suppose, you have to admit, we're getting to that stage in Rainbow Six Siege where potentially we need to start seeing extra bans added into that phase of the game, because you've got so many options to deal with it. Yes, cool, you've banned out Flores. Well, you've got to ban out either Thatcher or Maverick, which means there's still one avenue to get yourself into the building. You ban out the Mirror. Because Jaeger is banned, that means that Valkyrie's up. There's going to be a lot of options available. You see Cat's already on the Valkyrie. So we are getting to that position, and I think, honestly, once Thunderbird comes into comp play, yeah, she's going to be a bit of a niche pick. There are going to be some maps where you probably won't touch her at all. But we are getting to territory where we will have to consider adding an extra ban to on both sides to the game.
I'll definitely have to agree. If not with this season, next season when Thunderbird gets added to the competitive pool, it will be next when Osa makes her way into the map pool, or rather, sorry, not map pool. What am I saying? Operator pool, and it's definitely going to be worth to kind of relook at some of the possibilities, because it is going to be a very scary prospect to play even against Thunderbird. Say on this very position on the red stairs, you have a ballistic shield and a few of the Kona stations. Your position gets reinforced twice as effectively, and even without that, AJ is already able to find a frag.
Yeah, I would imagine that was in stock. Who knows? Either way, look, it's an Aruni. It's not the biggest of losses for Overt, but it's still a gun that could be in play. Clo looking to move things around. I honestly couldn't tell you.
I'm just about as lost.
Who knows? Either way, if frag was found, Serenity is down, so it is a 4 versus 5. But yeah, look, the Kona station, especially when paired with the likes of a Clash, which we've seen plenty of, is going to be a terrifying prospect. Crips T on the job, looking to open up your standard angles here in the garage wall. Drone in to look for some information. With Cade obviously on the board, you can go for those standard look for those where it's on the cat. Or Peepo is going to find a kill onto Diana, though no Hibana, which means it is now Crips T's responsibility to get the CCTV wall open, and Diffuse is not in the greatest of spots here.
Not particularly, no. At the very least, this is a good chance for people to play off that and play maybe for a bait here with her set up. I'll have to see if that is actually going to be the case, because she's being pressured very heavily from quite a plethora of the positions. The diffuser has been retrieved as well. A few more swings, and it could be spelling her demise, because already I would imagine that the breach has been already done. Crips T already starting to make a few plays. Frag grenade to be bounced off, flies in. That's the Kobe play. Crips T to find that frag.
4-1 out for one's homies when Jaeger is banned out, and it's just where am I to play with limited utility burn available, and it's exactly how you counter it out. L going to take a bit of damage. It's still a 3 versus 4, so not entirely impossible, but with a number of avenues available to this Quacked roster to get into the site and contest that plant, it's going to be a tall task to say the least. Chloe still there. They've got a couple of nitro cells in hand. I don't know about Katz's, but it's 2 to 3 potentially. Yes, all 3 in fact available can be used to try and deny this plant going down. 25 seconds on the clock so far. Quacked, and we've only seen the one attacking round. They got in, they got the job done. Crips is on the plant. Can this nitro cell deny from default? It's going to be nice and clean. Over a second one to follow it up. Just a bit too deep, so time to play. Now on the job. to try and go for the plant. Can the third Nitro Cell come through? Cats is running. No, she's missed the opportunity. Soy falls to Chloe. Ellie there as well. AJ will get that kill back onto Cats. But the time, it comes down to the clock. Overt. That is exactly what you need to do. The aggressive push from L. They translate it. They get their first round in this best of 3. And they are not out of this just yet.
There we go. Finally over. It didn't look like they managed to get themselves back on board, back into the play, sort out their mental game as well, which looked a little bit dire after the conclusion of map number 1. Going into this, look, I definitely have to commend them. That was a very solid play from them, and that triple C4, double C4, nearly triple C4, worked out pretty much the right wonders. Church and Arsenal is going to be the next one that is elected by Overt here for their defense, and Clubhouse is already showing that it's been a bit more of a even ground, to say the very least, between the two rosters rather than Cafe, which looked
Attackers need to locate and
which looked a little bit one-sided. But yeah, L, proud of you. That was a good
Look,
toss.
props. It was a nice Nitro. The second one, I don't know if it was a case it just went a little bit too far, ended up over the rafters or what, but yeah, like it was a little bit too deep. They weren't able to connect that second frag. I think it didn't really matter because she just pushed on and fragged it anyway. But I mean, look, it was exactly what you want to be doing in that situation. They bring it back, they get themselves around on the board. This is the start. They need to keep that momentum flowing.
Exactly. And Overt is a known team to be able to keep up the momentum, keep up the aggression the moment they catch that wave for themselves. Cats, funnily enough, is one of those players who can keep up a really solid momentum, but the moment Overt loses some of their pace, some of their maybe even mental game, that's where things start falling apart. Yet another round. Serenity is going to be trying to play early game around the landing on the main stairs, with the rest of the team still mostly just playing around the site, so it is going to be a little bit more of a solo game for her in terms of some of the gunfights, but it doesn't look like quite that really intending to play for any kind of real trades for now, because they just planning to just clear out the top floor and be as clinical and as just proficient in their time as possible.
I mean, they ain't here to wait, mess around, waste any time. At the moment, 3 pushing in, 2 on the drones. This is pretty stock standard for Quack. They feed the information through. They take ground, they then do it all over again. So they are pretty clinical and efficient when it comes to their approach here. So, look, Overt, they've got a pretty mountainous task ahead of them. They've got to win this map and then take us to Oregon. We have you. So obviously, we didn't get her over time in map 1. In fact, we got as far from it as possible. But here in map 2, it's a different story. It is a clean slate. Overt need to take it as a new map entirely. Do not think of it as best of 3, because that is where your mental can be crippled. Serenity playing aggressive on that Moto hatch, decides better of contesting it, will run herself back into the site. But that could have been a rather risky play.
Yeah, look, if anyone else would have been around with Cripsty watching those openings in the hatch, that would have been a completely different outcome. But regardless of that, that is going to be a bit of a pacifist kind of playthrough so far for both of the teams. On the side of Over, they just more so trying to not yet go for aggression. Meanwhile, Quackta just trying to find some sort of aggression. Well, they're not yet cooking the apple crumble. They whipping up the apple rumble for now.
Yeah, I mean, the ingredients are all there. Just need to put it in the oven and turn it up to scorching. If they can do that, if they can kick things off here, it could definitely be their first round on the board here on Club. But Overt, they've played the time very well. 35 seconds left, so something has to give here. It's really a question of what and who will be the first one to break time for Pi. Does not know that she has someone in her sights. It's Serenity on the other side of that wall. One shield down, looking for the spray. Peepo and Time for Pi go toe-to-toe, but it's going to be a gunfight that goes the way of Overt, but never mind. 3 attempt, Crips is there, Diana in support. Even more damage dealt by Time for Pi onto Al. It's going to be a complete sweep if they carry this up. Crips for another, a flawless in the second. Quacked, answer back, and boy, what a hell of a way to slap down their opponents.
Well, you said something is going to give in, and so far it looked like Overt's defense was intending to give in there. Church looked so good until those last 30 seconds. And from there on, I think it's just unfortunate timings and the fact that I don't think Overt expected Quack to just go for a full-on drop-down, full send. And Time for Pi being able to stay alive, having her position over in blue alive and able to keep on fragging out after taking that initial damage, pretty much was the round saver, I would have to say, just given the circumstances that they were in.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs
Well,
as they
look,
can.
we've seen the dichotomy. You know, a close round that just gets edged out by Overt, and then Quack storming onto the site, taking control, not losing a single player. Coming into
Feels-
round 3, it's look, it's anyone's how this one plays out. They're going to be doubling down on the basement bomb site. Last time, it was just a complete smack aside by Quack. They said, look, we don't care. We're just going to take the site. We're going to take control. We're going to take the gunfights as we want them. It's exactly what happened. Questions need to be answered here. What does Overt change? How do they change up the approach? Because they cannot take things the same way. Already we see some
5
minor
seconds
changes.
insertion.
I mean, you're looking Chloe not playing the Goyo, playing the smoke instead. So
Attackers
a
need to
lateral
locate
move, honestly.
the
But
bomb.
yeah, that was kind of brutal. I'll be honest.
Yeah, kind of brutal is one way to really describe it. It definitely giving me a few very cheeky flashbacks from back in Pro League, something like year 2, season 2, I believe, which definitely was quite an interesting one, purely for the sheer fact that back then Japanese teams were very well known for those last moment pushes, and not a whole lot of teams really knew how to respond to that. So it borderline very feels similar here between Overt and Quack. It's Quack just adapting that kind of that last moment push, which is very dangerous. But if you know what you essentially going in for, you're sorted.
Yeah, I mean, it's not every day that you see a last-ditch effort push come out and go in favor of the attacking team, especially on this basement bomb site like that. But it works. They look to carry on. Soy gets herself into Mars. They're going to start to establish some of those vertical angles, try and catch out anyone should they be roaming around bar. They want to deter anyone from that contesting that position so they can start to get the hatches open. Speaking of, Crips already on the job in stock, looking to open things up despite the cave floor Chloe down below on the smoke. Again, an aggressive position. We saw her here on the Goyo last round. This time it's on the smoke. They have 3 players committed to this blue hole.
They fully acknowledge that Time for Pi is a dangerous adversary, to say the very least, to play against, and well, now she's gotten quite a plentiful amount of information. That a rotation comes about. No damage dealt, but at the very least a spook and a half. But Ellie is the one to already start taking some damage, and that is from those very positions. And oh, bit of a cheeky trade.
L hits the head. Soy just does enough to finish Ellie off. But look, it's not the biggest of losses at the end of the day. No sledge is going to work against Quack. They don't have that ability to set up more vert unless they commit the impacts or the breaching rounds of AJ. But she's going to be looking for frags. She's going to be looking to play that entry role. Time for Pi already pushing down Secret, looking to contest the blue. Once again, we still have 2 players in blue and 1 contesting from Church. They Overt are doubling down on this position.
Bomb located by
100%.
attackers.
So many stuns already being sent down. 26 seconds yet again. The push needs to happen. AJ, Diana still on the drones. The main push by Time for Pi is starting to happen. Not yet called out, I believe. Pipo is about to be swung, but it's AJ to actually find another opening. That's another swing. Another one for Time for Pi, but finally now taken down by Pipo. But already the damage has been done.
Exact same way the round plays out. Time for Pi pushes in, does huge damage with no one able to react until the last moment. They do get the 1 kill, but it was Pipo desperately trying to find anything. That is a huge misstep from Overt. They let Time for Pi do the exact same thing 2 rounds in a row. They were trying to cover Oil Pit, but no one was coming from that direction. They've got a Valkyrie. How do they not know that Oil Pit is not being contested?
Look, I'm not too sure on this one, Billy. Just feels like it's just a whole mumbo jumbo of just miscommunications here really happening within Overt. Maybe it's just them being unable to predict some of the moves by Quack, but at this point, really, it's just the formula is there. Just let Time for Pi do her thing. on the blue
Attackers,
stairs and pretty
locate
much
and defuse as many
wreak
bombs
havoc
as
while
they
the
can.
rest of the team just starts to collapse onto the opposite side of the site. And really, yeah, look, a bit of a misplay on the information gathering side, albeit given the fact how Quacked were very clinical on their clears of the utility before they even made any of the substantial pushes. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe the camera was already there, but it just got destroyed.
Either way, we are going to be heading back up to CCTV, which is where Overt did pick up their only round so far, this best of 3. Honestly,
10
I
seconds remaining.
almost want to see some more aggression coming out of Overt. They're playing reasonably passively, waiting for Quack
5
to come to
seconds
them.
to go.
Take the gunfight to your opponents. Be audacious. Be bold. Catch them in those off angles, because if they're not expecting it, they're gonna take that at a disadvantage.
Look, I've said that before, and I'll say that again. Both teams really need to crank up their aggression, and if one of them does end up essentially playing a very passive game from themselves, they will be giving out a huge dub to their opponents. And yet again, Quack showing why. And for Over, they seeming to be... They started off really well on Clubhouse on the first round. Crips, you good? You okay?
Yeah, she's just
happening there?
she's just getting the job done. She's trying to be a bit fancy with it. Yeah, I think it was just trying to figure out if there was anything like the Saria Gate there, any sort of Nitro Cell cheeky plays coming through, but look, they get that confirmation. They now know that there is some sort of denial on the wall. They're going to have to clear out and deal with. AJ down below, looking to get control of stock and push on into lounge if they can start that march up red stairs, but this belt cam is going to be huge. Big information. Drones.
Big
going.
information. Huge
Yeah,
information.
I think this is the same position we would have seen that belt cam in the last round. So interesting that we saw, you know, so much pressure. They are going to see the Maverick of the garage door, garage walls though. So they have that information. Peepo, last time she was here, was caught out by a frag grenade. So hopefully she makes the call to vacate the premises sooner. Oh,
Reload.
Soy finds one, but then Serenity immediately answers back onto AJ. Diana pushing on up the rafter stairs as her remaining teammate does fall. Soy no longer in it, and it's down to Diana with 20 seconds left to play. Not a lot of health, but 4 players on Overt, ready and waiting, and there we go. Ellie has just stepped up. I mean, it's not been huge. Obviously, Overt are still down a map, but the ground that she's taken so far could be the thing that keeps the ball rolling in Overt's favor.
Indeed, look, yeah. Overt at the very least now know that they have that safe ground of the CCTV and cash that did manage to net them those 2 points quite well. Now it is still keeping them in that draw, that 2 each scoreline between themselves and Quacked. And if they do manage to win out a gym bedroom, this is already going to be setting themselves up pretty well for the conclusion of this half. A 3-3 ending is definitely still going to be quite uplifting for them, given all the circumstances so far. But gym and bedroom is also considered to be one of those tertiary sites, which is usually not particularly favorable for defense. So we'll have to see if that is, whether it is or not going to be the case here for Overt. Looking at their lineup though, it is a very well-built one, and plenty of utilities now, plenty of the angles to be pretty much denied and covered, at least for a brief moment, with those castle barricades. And look, so far for them, they just They just need to keep up their momentum. Really.
This is almost looking like a bit of a callback to early last year with the castle set up in gym. They've got the mute, they've got the Cade. It would be a Jaeger if there was one available, but yeah, this is eerily reminiscent of early 2020 Rainbow Six Siege, the Wemite, the extension over into Cash. Look, it is what it is. They're waiting for Serenity to throw the cam out. Castle barricade goes out into construction. They even open up that long angle towards the gym window as well. Yeah, this is just like quintessential early 2020 Siege.
Okay, maybe sometimes it's the old ways that would work way more than the new ways and the new meta. So quite possibly could be the key here. If AJ decides to jump in right about now and cut off those rotations, this could be a huge potential to just completely shut down all of Overt's operations, as they're still kind of amidst shutting, well, not shutting down, setting up their positions.
I mean, yeah, look, it's. Could you imagine, like, Overt, they've just put all this effort in, set themselves up, got all this prep done, and then, AJ just jumps in the main stairs window and looks to go for gold. But, look, 1 minute already burnt. They identify the extension into Cash. Time for Pi is going to be the one to push into CCTV. It's
A bomb has been
an
located.
unfortunate situation that Overt find themselves in, being a map down, especially given how well they're playing in the second map. I think maybe if they'd been able to... Oh boy, Time for Pi. Almost caught out. Peepo is the one that's going to suffer because of it, but Serenity almost found some big impact off that Nitro.
Yeah, if that would have worked out, if that Nitro was a little bit closer to Time for Pi, that would have been a phenomenal shutdown. Another swing to come around. People might just be able to find the shot, but instead just traces over the breach. And right now, at the very least, Overt are doing some solid time and just denying the push, albeit Ellie keeps on the pressure, keeps it up with Time for Pi now down, then possibly only to be picked up back up for just only 20 HP. It is looking still a little bit dire, given the fact that, well, Overt finally starting to bite back, and this is exactly what we've been waiting for them to do during Cafe, but didn't really get that kind of redemption storyline.
4 versus 4, health bar's just that little bit better for the side of Overt. Peepo and in position to contest. Yeah, definitely the kill-death ratio is looking a lot healthier here in map 2. Ellie, huge step up from map 1, is leading that charge, and these cams providing so much information. Ellie on the hunt, wants more if she can find it. But with 32 seconds left, something, again, it's going to have to come down to the Force. They're setting themselves up to get the jacuzzi wall open. X-Kyra's out. That could be interesting. It may be enough to block the push in. AJ dropped by Serenity, who was playing on the plateau of main stairs. Time for Pi trying to push in. Low health could be fragged out almost immediately. 10 seconds coming up in just a moment. Peepo there has the angle on Pi behind the desk. The drop down for 2. And Serenity will find the closer. Overt, a different team here on Clubhouse.
Absolutely stunning performance by them. Finally managing to find their way, their path, their momentum, their energy, really, and the mental game seeming to be pretty much back into the play. Church, Arsenal, oh, rather, pardon me, Barn Stockroom, curious, is going to be the possible, pardon me, not even possible, the final pick for the Women's League. In the clubhouse.
Not just yet. There's still another half to play.
Sorry,
But
for Overt, for Overt's defense. Sorry, I'll correct myself here.
Like, as much as I'm right with you, my brain is a bit there. This is just some insane stuff that we're seeing. But the Apex special, we're going to bar stock, and honestly, I don't blame them.
Attackers need to locate
In this
and defuse
situation,
as many bombs as they can.
cheeky drink, get yourself some Irish courage, get going. This honestly, this could be that upset that they need to take the half 4-2.
Attackers have located a bomb.
I definitely wouldn't put it past it. Really. Overt looking absolutely refreshed here on Clubhouse. This is something that they've managed to so far keep up pretty well and keep up the round count as well for them. We look at the performance though. First round was went into their favor by the time.
10 seconds
2
left
rounds
before
then were
insertion.
fragged out by Quacked, and then the final 2 rounds just
5
now
seconds left
concluded in
before
Overt's frags as well. So overall, Overt
Attackers are
definitely
heading out to
feeling a
defuse the
little
bomb.
bit now more accustomed to the playstyle that Quacked has been bringing on board. And as for Quacked, not a whole lot of things really changed per se in their pacing and their performance. It's just more so that Overt now fully know as to what to expect from their opponents.
I mean, it's also, I haven't really touched on it at the top. It's worth mentioning that Time for Pi is still playing M762 Zofia.
That is true.
Mad respect for someone to stick it out, especially given the changes that were made to the recoil pattern. I don't touch that gun no more. It's LMGE or nothing. But, I mean, she still picked up 4 frags doing it, so obviously she's pretty accustomed to the gun.
I mean, it does offer quite a fair few of the opportunities for whoever decides to master the recoil for it. So it's still a few chances to make a huge play here. I personally actually been slowly getting back to it, but using more so the 1x scopes rather than 2x scopes. But apart from that, really, Quack are still being very clinical on their pushes.
Oh dear.
No. Oh no. That's not how you do this, cats.
Well, she was around bar, so genuinely curious as to where that claymore was placed. Maybe upstairs towards CCTV. Who knows? Any number of possibilities. It's unlucky. It is what it is. You don't want to get caught by the claymore. In fact, opening death to a claymore is pretty brutal as well.
Cats is still yet to find a frag as well, on top of it all, which is not particularly enjoyable, to say the very least. But look, with minute 15, I still definitely would have to say that trading out of all of the operators, the Melusi is probably kind of the least of a damaging one, given the fact that you're still losing one of the C4 players, but still, things are very much workable here for Overt. And the main carry in the face of Ellie and people are still well in the launch.
We are definitely getting close to that HSP territory. Holy smokes, Peepo on the board. 46 seconds. Soy going to be tagged up just a little bit. The hatch above Billiard's going to be open. Soy looking for angles too. There is a number of avenues into the site itself. Time for Pi on the hunt, looking for that pressure downstairs. Oh no, missed time. Time for Pi could be in trouble. Goes for a bit of a spray. Ellie falls. Kripsty!
No.
Team killed out. Equalizing. Well, bringing it, not quite equalizing, but bringing it close. This is Peepo's round to pop off. Serenity is on the floor with 20 seconds. If they can stall time, they can take it here. 4-2. Diane on the plant. Someone needs to stop it, but there is no stopping it right now. It's going to be tucked into stock. The run happens helter-skelter towards stock to try and deny, but Chloe falls. It's all on Peepo. This has to be a huge clutch shot. Diana finishes off Chloe. Can she get anything more, Peepo? It's going to be a dire straight. That much is for sure. Stun going in. Player on main, the drop from the hatch. And AJ will finish off the half. It's 3-3, so still entirely doable here. But Quack to bring it back. Serenity claims it. Yeah, we'll give it to you.
Yeah, look, I'll agree with Serenity. That frag is definitely a little bit of a interesting one, but look, probably a little bit of a tilter for, well, the funny kind of tilter for Gripsty. But regardless, yeah, 3-3 scoreline is a good turnout for Overt. Finally, some form of redemption, albeit they are very much far away from the actual redemption for themselves here, as they yet to pretty much take the map away from Quack. And for Quack, they only 4 rounds away. A Clash pick for Diana.
We talked about the tilter. Clash
my.
is one of them, and on CCTV no less.
Oh my.
If you play your cards right on this site, she is in absolute demon. Especially with a Melusi, especially with a smoke as well. This, it just could be line them up, knock them down here for Quack.
Oh, we'll have to see if that is going to be the actual case, because look, there's still plenty of opportunities and plenty of chances to get naded, to get fragged out from a plethora of the positions, but I'll definitely have to agree the Clash, especially even on something like Rafters, is going to be an extremely powerful entity here to play against. So for Overt, I would have to imagine that something across the lines of maybe even a push through the master bedroom would be a good idea to just open up yet another front to play on. I mean, probably not particularly family friendly, but you look at the history of World War II, the side that had the 2 fronts and able to separate the efforts was the one who actually managed to make it a dub.
exactly it. Cat's going to be tagged up, but it's Serenity with the cover to drop time for Pi. No mute, no C4, no MP5 either, as that's the gun running Diana, choosing violence rather than defense. Has the SPSMG-9 out, shield on the back, ready to go, trying to clear out some of these drones that are looking for key information points on the map. Cat's still alive, still able to find some impact in the round. I would imagine heading straight to okay, Diana almost shot out her own default cam there. But honestly, it's just habit at this point.
Yeah, could be that. Could be just maybe a few, maybe some candies were shared around, and some sugar overdoses being done here. Just wanting to just get blasting trigger finger is itching. Apart from that, really, Overt starting things off really well. Getting the better of Mute is, like you said, a huge opening here, and very early into the match as well. It is definitely going to be presenting Quacked with a few less opportunities, albeit Soy, she's able to land her shot here. This could be absolutely sensational, though.
Breach
Doesn't
is
look like
open.
that is gonna be the
Does
case.
have the magnet. Look, this is a tenuous spot, and we see a lot of teams still playing it. Frag grenade in
Yo.
somehow. Soy is alive. Almost gets caught out. That's not a magnet. That is a proximity alarm that will be thrown instead. But Soy still in it, still able to find some impact. But the damage there, absolutely huge.
AJ just managed to avoid the holographic, the hologram of the Iana, and right now has the element of surprise here. She does go in for the swing. She can get the down, and that's the frag as well onto Chloe out of all of the players. That's a huge play, although Ellie still now starting to make a play, making a push. Serenity getting continuously zapped here by Diana, who's going
While
to be
being
fully
light
flashed.
screened as well. Like, that's just unfortunate, but eventually could see some frag grenade play. Serenity falls, not killed, but down. That could be a big finish if they find the angle. Oh, that's a tight one. Cats catches out AJ, finishes it off with a skeleton keyword back, close to that 3-3 territory. In fact, more or less there. And Cats finds another angle from below. While they were playing, look at me, Ellie just pushing up, baits out Diana. With 15 seconds left, it is a 2 versus 4. We've seen this go horrendously, though, for Overt in the past. Soy has a little bit of health, finds the head of Cats. Almost does find Serenity as well. 4 seconds, there's no time. Soy finds a third. It's down to Ellie. The toxic canisters could finish it off. Ellie, she's still in. She's still good. Running in, does she know? No clue. Ellie might be able to find this one. Can she find two? No!
There we go.
Crips T, the clutch queen, finds the kill, gets the defuse. And Overt just
Diffuser disabled by
caught,
defenders.
tripped, ankle
Bomb
tapped
defusing
at
attempt
the finish
failed.
line.
Defenders win.
Jeez Louise. The whole of the remaining defenders just were absolutely clueless where the actual plant was going down, ran past Ellie, and just by a miracle pretty much managed to clutch it out. But Soy, my goodness, switching out from one target to the next one and to the third, just clinical with her aim and just overturning all the progress that was made by Overt into just dust.
I mean, I'm pretty sure she got more kills than she had health points at the end of that round.
Definitely.
Just stunning stuff coming out from Quacked. But honestly, it's one of the trademarks of the region. It has to be said. For nothing else, play styles may differ from part to part of APAC, but one of the the currents of the region is tenacity, and we are seeing that out of Quacked. Absolutely down 4-2. Soy just goes absolutely huge, and they pull it back regardless. And well, 4-3. Quacked have that round lead for the first time so far this map. And as we head into round 8, they head down to the basement. This has been an attacker-sided bomb site so far.
Oh, maybe this is going to be a slightly different turnout. We do see a little bit of a kind of SSG-esque kind of extensions, albeit not particularly the best copy-paste of the strat, but regardless of that, it definitely provides still a few more safe angles for a brief amount of time for the defenders, albeit nobody is intending to really hold too much of a ground. Time for Pi around the kitchen hallway, but she is looking like she's intending to bail out at the moment's notice. Gripsty up above is probably looking to be the main person to have some damage. Candela comes out. Soy is the one to get blinded out and completely shut down and destroyed, but AJ at the very least is able to get a refrag.
Playing around stock might find more, but Serenity is there. So quick 2 for 1 going the way of Overt, but they lose out on the Candelas. No more Ying in play. And that just makes things that little bit harder. No Whammy, so it wouldn't really have been stopped anyway. It would have been pretty easy for them to get down. But there's still 2 minutes to play. Overt can gather themselves, look to readdress the situation and get themselves into the site. But, I mean, if we see anything like we saw at a Quack last round, it may not count for much.
Oh, Woody. Well, this is a slightly different turnout, I gotta say. Time for Pi is a little bit isolated, but knows very well that there is plenty of presence in the dead tunnel. Diana is behind the bomb chassis, and Crips T is about to try to reinforce her position, but really that would have been a little bit of a misplay if the swing started to happen. But right now, Time for Pi is the one to be clinical, finds the shot onto Serenity, clears out the blue tunnel, and right now the last remaining push is actually coming out from the dead tunnel.
Cat started to come online, but Time for Pi finds yet another onto Peepo. Spray is good. The quick trade back once again leaves it Time for Pi in the 1 versus 2. Cat's being low means this is definitely doable. A bit of a whiff on the spray. Ellie's still alive. Rotate back into money. We've still got over a minute left to play in this round because the Lulu diffuser will be picked up. Ellie on the job. Proximity alarm going to give it away. But Cat's playing around the bomb chassis. They're going to double down that position. Impact could take out Cat's here, but she's watching. She knows it's Ash Wall is the play. And Overt will equalize.
There we go. A little bit, well, rather way closer than we've expected here from the two teams after the way how map number 1 has concluded. And George and Arsenal.
We called it was going to be close at the very start. Yeah. It then wasn't, and now it is again.
Look, so, maybe we were just trying to predict it for maybe map 2 onwards. Maybe,
I mean,
yeah.
Not wrong. I mean, there's still potential for that reverse sweep to come in. It's tied, so the scales are definitely a little lopsided, to say the least. AJ going to go for that 6 pick onto the Mozzie, so they are going to double down on this basement hold once again with that vertical extension. Same setup, same operators on the defense, same on the attack. And look, I mean, it's bold to reattempt in exactly the same way. So you've got to imagine they know what went wrong.
Yeah, they fully acknowledge that maybe certain aggressions should not have happened. The fact that Soy got pretty much caught with her pants down right at the blue stairs with that Candela shouldn't really have happened. And even if she would have just held her position right at the landing of those blue stairs, that would have been a completely different turnout. If AJ wouldn't have swung into the supply room as well, that would have been a completely different turnout. But maybe this round is going to be seeing all those corrections happen. Maybe it's going to be a little bit more of a withdrawn play. But again, similar to what I've been saying about Overt, if Quack would decide to be a little bit more withdrawn, play a much more passive game, I think this is going to be playing into the hands of Overt a whole lot more.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Look, it's... Yeah, look, I mean, map 1, I 100%. At the end of map 1, I would welcome people saying this is going to be a Quack map. But this, like I said, tenacity, this is exactly what it is. Overt are playing a different style of siege, and it is working for them. Serenity, first one to be tagged up. She's been involved in a number of opening flurries of guns fighting, but she wins it against Crips T. No more mute. She's in billiards, and she is here to stay. They know that there is someone in close proximity. Can she find any more? The 3 ping is there. The information is on board. Peepo as well, trying to set up, trying to find anything. The pinch is coming in big here. Chloe as well. They might even dump their Candelas into the bar itself. Diana in trouble. Cats to fall, though. That UMP-45 still doing plenty of work. Down main stairs is not going to be contested just yet. Time for Pi still here. Candela is out. White screen. The flood on in. Serenity, they know the pings are there. She's going to cop a bit more damage, but she finds the kill regardless. The jump down the hatch. It's straight in. Chloe for another one. This is Overt's territory. Soy denies one, but AJ is very disconnected right now. Soy has to line them up huge.
Also, it did manage to show us a few really solid performances. So right now, she is able to give a few more moments. AJ needs to make her way, make haste, really, because right now, this could be all shut down very quickly. The angle is being watched, but full lineup as well! Peepo is the one to get the TK right now, and down. It's all down to Serenity. But in a 1v1, maybe possibly 1v2 in a little bit,
That
this could be
impact
much more
do
workable.
Huge damage, but no, Serenity pulls it back. We almost got the APAC lineup there. It was almost just like TSM on Oregon. But no, Overt, this time round, they're not going to be the ones to fall. They take the round lead once again, 5-4. Overt just need 2 more.
My oh my. Overt. Finally bringing this back into their hands, and off the back of those very aggressive plays, finally leaning into that. And Quack seemed to be almost stumped about that fact, really. They looked so dominant in them first map, looked so dominant at the very beginning of their defense, but now borderline it feels like it's a contestation between the Tiger and a small kitten, really, here, with Overt being the Tiger.
Well, I mean, look, even if they are, I don't even think that's that. It's, the big dog and the little dog. And unfortunately, it tends to be the little dogs that have the loudest bark and sometimes the worst bite as well. I mean, yeah, honestly, I'm beginning to believe. I think Overt can take this to Oregon. We could go to a map 3 here, but it is still not locked in entirely. There are still more rounds that need to be played before we do get there. Round 10, CCTV back in. Last time we were here, the coordination almost secured Overt the round. It came down to some minor misplays and a hero effort out of Soy. Can we see Overt overcome?
Quite possibly. Look, if they continue playing the way how they did so far, I wouldn't put it past the fact that they might just be able to pull it off in a very dominant fashion to close out the rest of those rounds. But the moment right now, no real read as to, well, for the possibility of the roam, and really for Quack this could be a huge leverage to play about, only if they do make their plays right, because so far it's a bit of a slower one. Soy just needs to make sure that she sets her positions up as well as she can make them, and
last time she was here, she ate almost the full force of a frag grenade. This time round, though, she survived a little bit longer. Editing's but Cat spotted, found out prone by Time for Pie. Is going to be shut down and dealt with. Unfortunate, especially on a site like this. Serenity playing around stock. Diana is beelining for that position. Chloe still has that big LMG. Still has the 3 Candelas, but it seems a different approach here at Overt. Last time, they just brute forced their way in Garage. They brute forced their way into the site, but they're taking a different approach, and especially with someone like AJ down here on the roam, there's a lot of upset potential.
100%. Look, still plenty of ways to really go about it.
Sorry, the rotate's not big enough. I need to shield up at all times.
Yeah, look, it really has to be the one way or the other. Another Candela flies in. Or rather, pardon me, a smoke. Okay. My bad. Regardless of that,
the old bait switch.
Yeah, a bit of an obstruction is being made here to maybe throw in some of the frag grenades, if those are going to be done. But instead, maybe a few of the Candelas to try to maybe drain some of the utility. Serenity from below could actually make a huge play right now, but
there are
there's
a couple magnets.
A couple magnets indeed, and they are doing quite a solid job. Another one, but that's from below. AJ Tiger to find a shot, and all of a sudden the Overt numbers are starting to dwindle. Serenity tries to re-peek, but AJ is ready and prepped.
Confident as anything. Just, you know what? There's another one. I'll take it. I'll take that gunfight. 5 versus 3. Look at the angles that have been covered here. No Candelas. Chloe caught through that hatch in the bar. They do get the wall open. They can look to get onto the side, but look who's there waiting for them. Unfortunately, Diana is on the job. Ellie looking for a cross, looking for an angle towards top red. But she can find a pick here. It might provide an anti-frag grenade. And it's a dangerous game. Inju tactics coming in. Soy and AJ team up for 2. And they leave it in the hands of Holy Smokes. Peepo, the 180, is it going to be enough? But no. Crips T is there. It was all smoke and mirrors, and the jump out. There we go. Headshot, flawless round, and we're back even. It's 5-5. It's still anyone's game.
Indeed, but this very round 11 is going to be the big decider as to who comes out here with a huge advantage. On the side of Quacked, if they do gain the match point, they get the match point, the series point, the championship point. For Overt, they only get the chance to really push this to map 3 and get themselves another chance at, well, contesting for that first place prize.
Well, I mean, it's a very close one thing. Chloe changes her mind. It is going to be Iniana instead, as we do head to Gem Bedroom for the first time here for Quacked on the defense. Frost in play for Diana. We've seen this operator do huge work through the Mexico Major, through ANZ competition as well. So I'm excited to see where they look to prioritize it. They've got the Aruni, they've got the Wemite, they've got plenty of denial coming into this round. Overt need to break away. If they can get this round, push on to the following, phenomenal. If not, unfortunately, it is their run done here.
Well, I mean, we've seen some crazy comebacks really here from quite a fair few teams in Women's League, really, and I mean, coming back from a single round deficit, I'm still pretty sure that Overt could pull this off for themselves, but
5 seconds left.
it is definitely going to be a very difficult run. That is a very cheeky setup as well by
Attackers are
Diana.
moving out to
So,
locate a bomb and
if
defuse it.
anything, really on Overt, if they lose out this round, it could be just purely off the lack of the information gathering technology that they have.
Look, we know this for a fact. You and I have experienced that it is the dumb frost mats that seem to work. And under the hatch, I could not think of one that would be more not only double pog mat. So look, it's risky, especially given that, I mean, if you're doing your drone work, you know that it's going to be there. Peepo on the job. HSP Queen herself looking to open up Jacuzzi. No one covering Crips T, the first to take some damage there. Just caught out a little bit. Not the cleanest of Maverick tricks, but it is going to get the job done nonetheless. Soy extended over towards top red. That is a pretty big gap. AJ over that side as well. Ellie just providing a bit of deterrent misinformation, drawing the attention. If she can keep AJ and Soy over there long enough, the rest of the team can clean this up.
That's really one way to call it. She has no idea about AJ Tiger's presence, and right now decides to pretty much forfeit
Attackers have located a
that
bomb.
spot. So many pings coming out onto the position of Ellie, I believe, and pretty much calling out that she's making the rotation. So nobody is anymore applying pressure on that very breach, so rotation could be done pretty easily, pretty quickly. But you
Bomb
see time
located
for
by
Pi.
attackers.
You see Soy extended so far through, so right now it's down to Diana, opens up fire, but oh Lord, yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a ambitious decision to make a play off that, and if Katz turned around, she would have been actually able to find a shot onto Diana, but thankfully for the Frost player, that is not the case
Attackers
just yet.
dropped the bomb diffuser.
Diana tried to Danny DeVito it, but it's time for Pi to find the open. Ellie falls. But it is just the one frag, and it is only the Hibana. They've already got Jacuzzi wall open, so there's no desperate necessity for hard breach at the moment. The diffuser is in a dangerous spot, though. Caught out on that hatch, just lacking a little bit on the angle. 52 seconds left to play. Cat's desperately watching that CCTV window, trying to catch anyone. Gemini goes in, it's shot out almost immediately, but it does give them enough to work with. AJ with a nitro cell through the window is not going to quite get it deep enough to take out Chloe. Time is starting to get a bit desperate here.
Sure is, really. Flank was just starting to get a pretty much completely outflanked, but right now the
Serenity's
flank
in.
is actually working. Serenity is in, People is pushing in as well, and right now full control of the site. Chloe is the one to shut down and get a double. All of a sudden the collapse is there, and this
It's
is the
all coming
punishment.
apart. Chloe
This is
for
the
a
punishment.
third. It's
This is
ju-
the
they-
play.
To go.
How? They've been allowed to
Attackers
push
are-
on into the site. AJ's pushing up main and the diffuser is down. Cthulhu! How have they been allowed to get away with that?
I'm not too sure at this point. I've had a few inklings that, well, really this could be the issue if they overextend too many people, and right now this is, well, they're getting punished for that extremely heavily, and no real way for redemption. Overt about to score themselves the match point, and look, the possibility of a third map is very much on board here.
I mean, at least they're going to lock in the potential of overtime. So that gives them that extra little bit of safety. They're not quite, a map advantage safety net. And there we go. Round is guaranteed over. Chloe for a fourth. A massive 4K in the round. But, I mean, they guarantee themselves that safety net. If they lose out the next round, they've at least got overtime for another attempt at it. But Overt, I mean, polar opposites. I mean, map 1, 7-0. They're about to take the map. Yes, it could be a 7-5. It could be, 8-6, 8-7. But either way, they're in a prime position to take us to Oregon.
Just one more round for Overt is all that it takes really here for them to really make that comeback, a return from a 7-0 onto a 7-5, if not then 8-5 maybe, is certainly going to be a huge storyline for them. Gym and Bedroom, possibly the final chance
Defenders, protect your
for
bombs from being
the
defused by attackers.
Quacked roster to make a play and make themselves a flawless round, or rather flawless run throughout the whole season.
I mean, we are seeing what is an incredibly attacker-sided clubhouse so far. And they are going to double down. They are going to head back here. Same rosters on both sides of the coin. They are sticking with it. Serenity coming into map 2, leading the charge in the frag department. 10, 7, and 2. The rest of the team already, we are seeing double what they achieved in the
10
previous.
seconds to go.
Exactly. Look, it's
5 seconds left.
a huge glow up for Overt throughout this whole grand final, and they're not really planning to stop anytime soon. Really, it's just a phenomenal turnout from them. Cafe completely discarded, completely ignored about how things went. Yes, Clubhouse is not particularly the cleanest map for them too, but look, it's a solid turnout for them. They're making it work, and the whole squad is now working together. You see across the board, yes, Serenity is on double digits, but the rest of the team is still following pretty closely with each other.
Well, this time we don't see the early skirmishes come out just yet, but it's still plenty of the round to be played out. We could still see it come into play. Cats looking to get control of that gym window, looking to try and find anything but Peepo on the job, looking to open Jacuzzi, looking to set themselves up, and Cats is going to jump down, get herself on the rappel to watch the angle. And this is where things start to get a bit scary. If you can find a kill here, if you find any opening, Overt could run away with this. There is a Saria gate there. If they can burn some utility. Last time, obviously, that last round is going to be a key indicator of what could happen once again. The fact that they got into the site so freely, and yeah, Crips has respected that. She's going to reinforce the bathroom wall.
Exactly. Look, I mean, I am very much skeptical about this whole setup, because ultimately they are stacking 3 people against a single hard breacher that is not even really intending to push. And for AJs to start making the rotation, it is a good idea, but still, I would probably want to see a little bit more presence, given the fact that Serenity, just like that, is able to eliminate a Frost position, and just like that, just completely obliterate it.
First domino falls. All they need are 4 more. AJ down in kitchen. Time for Pie still in construction. They're so adamant that there's going to be someone there over CCTV, but Chloe, frag grenade into the bathroom. You don't want to put a grenade in a toilet. It's not going to work. And look at that, Ellie on the drone. Spots out AJ down, halfway down main stairs. Serenity pushes into Logi. They're looking to get control of the site if they can. What can Overt do to prolong... Actually, no, sorry, not even that. What can Quack do to prolong this? It's all coming apart. AJ for 1. That's Chloe to 4. But there's still 4 more they need. Serenity tagged up just a little bit. Time for Pie pushing into Logi. This could be a huge gunfight, and Time for Pie wins it. 28 seconds to play around here, and it's a 3 versus 3. Time could work against Overt. They could be so close, but be shut down on the clock. Peepo watching that push in from Logi. Ellie ready and waiting to go for the plant. Soy finds Cats. It could come apart here. They need to find something huge. Peepo spots the player in Logi. AJ coming up from behind. Oh no, the flank is huge. AJ takes Peepo's head off. Ellie in trouble. Shut down.
There we go.
And we are going to get overtime here on Clubhouse. 2 more rounds minimum. Potentially the full 3. And unfortunately for Overt, they just can't shut it out.
holy moly, Quacked, out of what looked like borderline impossible to come back from situation, managed to completely turn around the whole situation, bring it back, completely deny any of the side presence really that Overt were able to gain. Pushing this into overtime is already going to be a tilter, because not only for Overt, they were just about to call it, say, oh yeah, GG, finally we got the map, we can keep on rolling. No, they're still back in that very dire situation. If they lose out on overtime, this is going to be heartbreaking for them.
To bring it so far, I will fall at the last hurdle yet. Absolutely soul crushing to say the least, but it's overtime. Overt on the attack, which has been their strong suit, so they do have 2 attempts at this. They have been able to play it phenomenally, but I mean, you just cannot count out Quack at any point.
Not at all. Yeah, look, that very round was the reason why nobody counts them out that way, because that is an absolutely phenomenal play from Quack. Overt, look, I gotta give them props. They have been putting in the time, they have been putting in the work, and it's just unfortunate that at the last moment it all slipped up. A few of the opportunities presented themselves, and Overt just couldn't really play it out the way that they've really wanted it. But it's still not over yet. Once again,
honestly,
Diana.
I think it's quite easy to figure out what has been the upset factor on Clubhouse, and it's Soy, 100%. Soy has just found some insane moments on Clubhouse to upset Overt. If not for those hero plays, this map would be over. And time for Pi. She's looking to contribute some rounds of her own. No more Hibana here in round number 13, which means that the job is solely on the shoulders of Peepo to get this hard breach job done.
I mean, it doesn't look like it's really phasing her in any shape or form. Still plenty of coverage being done by Serenity right now. Be it a little bit of a dirtier kind of opening. There's still a little bit of that. There we go. All sorted. We're good. Peepo should still be able to get the opening. There we go. All sorted out. All nice and tidy. Apart from that, Chloe is now forced to essentially go for the roam clear all by herself without really a whole lot of drones. Tries to bait out the run out, but Time for Pi knows better. She knows that she just can hold her position, hold her angle, and just not really care.
In fact, she's going to dip straight down to the base and might even be able to come up main stairs. Alex might be able to push up Secret and Soy in the same position. Doing a job phenomenally, looking to hold things down. Cat's just looking for a pixel, an opening, an inkling. Serenity doing much the same right now, but Quacked not going to give them that opportunity. If Overt are to take Clubhouse here, they're going to have to fight tooth and nail every step of the way. Diana's still up in rafters. This was dealt with once before by the multi-pronged push into the garage itself, using teammates as a bit of a bait while they were down, but Time for Pi here in support. Well, this could be rough, and oh no! AJ and Time for Pi and Soy, they find 3. It's now down to Peepo, and a 1v5. She's going to get the down and the kill, deny the flawless, but at the cost of a huge amount of her health. And in fact, they're just going to push in behind her. Diffuser well and truly out of reach. And Time for Pi there to shut it down. Quack take the first round of overtime, and they are 1 round away from being crowned grand champions of the XP Esports Women's League Season 5.
Holy, look, such a close game. Such a absolute barn burner here that is being presented for us. Quacked seemingly looked revitalized. Finally learned their mistakes on CCTV, managed to play it out so well. The fact that Time for Pi played below Diana and played off her information is a huge play. Albeit usually it does get shut down, but things went slightly differently. Oh my... it'd be a little bit steamy out here. Oh, okay, never mind. We went cold.
Man's hopes
Okay,
were raised,
I'm just gonna call it.
and
That's
then
it. I'm out.
absolutely Spartan kicked off the cliff.
I'm not.
Oh no. We'll see Cthulhu next season, guys. Don't you worry. He stepped away for a moment. AJ, just bullying the poor man. But with one round separating Quack from the title Cthulhu, do Overt have enough in the tank to get themselves this defense round?
Oh, quite possibly. They've managed to show us a few really solid defense setups, and one of them was on CCTV, so wouldn't put it past that. They might just be able to defend their position, their chance right here, right now. On this, with this kind of lineup, I definitely think that there is plenty of opportunity. Peepo is the one to set things up on the rafters, and possibly will be the one to keep holding her position. She was able to play her cards really, really well back when Overt were defending. So we'll have to see if that is going to be the case. It has a few openings, and Serenity, oh my.
Just it has all three Saria gates in pocket. As the round is already 20 seconds deep. Gonna put one down. Has two more. Ellie unfortunately brings the 44 Magnum rather than the the revolver.
Look, I rate the 44 mag a little bit more than a
So do
I'll say
I.
that.
But when you're looking to open up holes, I think the revolver's just that little bit better. Well, so far, it's not quite been that accelerated, just, head first rush that we've seen out of, well, not even head first. It's still pretty coordinated, it's still pretty concise, but it's again, the patience game that we have become accustomed to of this Quack attack. But Soy, they're looking to push in. They're looking to that west to east clear here. And Overt, this is a hell of a storm they have to weather.
What they're not really too knowledgeable about is the fact that there is a Wild Serenity about to make a push onto the main stairs. Does the Quack roster know that there is a push about to happen? Because right now, Soy will need to keep holding the angle. There is a call out on the Vigil's position. Serenity also bailed out, actually. Opens up the hatch for Vigil off Chloe to fall back, but right now, only two players, or rather, pardon me, three players on the site. Could be something to really think about for Quack to really make a push against, but again, Serenity and Chloe could make a huge effort here to just completely shut things down.
So far, the time sync has been pretty good, but it's Ellie, the first to fall. So positioned on that construction door, looking deep into Cash. Cats, they're on the opposite side of the bomb site. Does have that nitro cell, but things are starting to open up in a pretty significant way. Chloe down below. This has to be a huge roam. That hatch, her undoing at one point is going to find some damage onto Soy, but it's not enough for the kill, unfortunately. So they are going to team up once again. Oh, okay, Serenity, that would have been a pretty bad move. Shooting Chloe in the back. Crips still watching main stairs. Player spotted towards top red. Soy tagged up just a little bit further. 30 seconds in. Serenity equalizes that player count. Crips has to get over the bomb site. Serenity just tucked in on CCTV. Chloe below again. There we go. Diana to fall. Soy downed as well. This could be the backing they need. Downed and finished off. Crips is in danger, being shot at through the wall. 13 seconds to play with. The punch hole. Crips finds the head of Chloe, but she's downed and finished off by Peepo. AJ brings it down to the 2v1. 4 seconds to play. No diffuser in hand. She's down. No time to work with. And Serenity closes it out. Full distance here in the overtime. Cthulhu, we are going to get it 15 rounds and one last desperate attempt for Overt to take us to Oregon.
One last chance. One last chance for pretty much everyone in this very server. For Quack, it's one more chance, one last chance before they go to map number 3, if that is the case, to pretty much close out this whole matchup. For Overt, this is the last chance to get themselves over to map 3 to essentially make a push for the, well, for the chance for the first place. Third map. Look, yeah, bubble tea. That's a good offer, I'd say, from Serenity.
Look, one way to motivate the troops: bribe them.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by
I mean,
attackers.
if you are living in New Zealand, there is actually a new line of bubble tea that you can buy in supermarkets that you can make at home. So maybe something to look into for some of the gamers.
Look, I will be perfectly honest. I have never had bubble tea. And
Heresy.
it does not faze me that I have not. But Quacked are going to head down to the basement. Last time we were here with Quacked on the defense, Overt on the attack, it was the 2v1. Cats knew
10 seconds remaining.
where the push was coming from and shut it down. This is probably the best shot that Overt have to take us to Oregon here. And look at that, Serenity leading the charge, 13-9. Same as Time for Pi, the only difference being that Serenity has less assists.
And Time for Pi continuing the trend of having one of the highest amounts of of assists throughout the whole
It's also worth
lobby.
mentioning that on Cafe, Time for Pi almost played Newt exclusively on the defense
Also
and is
true.
now on a vigil.
Yeah, she decides, yeah, you know what? I've had enough of all this utility BS. I'm just gonna go full violence here. It's time to shut it all down. It's time to close down this whole shop. Whereas Overt wants to keep the shop open, really. It's one of those kind of dilemmas. Do you want to keep the shop open for a couple more minutes to get a little bit more money? Or do you want to close it down right here, right now?
Well, that has to be the general consensus, I think. Quack, they don't want to go to Oregon. They don't want a chance at Overt resetting the counter. First minute already burnt. That castle barricade, it's a risky one.
Oh,
They are pushed up.
waiting.
Chloe, ready. They're looking to explode out of the site. Serenity takes some big damage. Frag grenade deep in. Can they find anything? The swing has to be good, but no. 2 quick kills for Quacks. This is looking absolutely bleak for Overt. They needed this to go their way. And it's not at all Cat's fault. AJ finds it. It could all be over. Frag grenade in. But Soy just going to tuck into the wall in Arsenal. They know where one is. Impact throw and Peepo is going to cop some damage. They know, in fact, where both of them are if the cams are good. But Cthulhu, I think that might just be it, barring some miracle play out of holy smokes, Peepo. This could be all she wrote here for Season 5 of the Women's League.
Yeah, this is definitely the last-ditch effort here for Overt. Nothing really worked out too well, albeit people is able to keep on thrashing, really, here, trying to just find those frags one by one. Another frag... Oh, flashbang. Nope, that's a little bit of a botched one. Another flashbang, maybe, to try to get Flush Cripsty out of her position, but she's all good. She's all sorted. Another one, another angle. That's AJ to find a double. All down to Ellie.
Shotgun!
And it's Cripsty. Shotgun to the face. GG. Well played. No way for Overt to push.
Last-ditch effort was not enough, and Quacked will be that final stumbling block for Overt. Quacked are your Season 5 Women's League champions, a 2-0. And look, Cthulhu, I'm perfectly honest. The 3, grand finals that I have witnessed in the XP Esports Women's League, all of them have been 2-0s.
That is true. Look, so far we still yet to go to third map at the grand finals, but look, regardless of that, that was an absolutely barn burner of a map number 2. Map 1, look, Overt could have done quite a whole lot of things really differently, but it was their game through and through on map number 2. It's just a few miniature slip-ups that ended up being escalated into literally the world-sized problems by Quacked that ended up preventing them from taking any map off them, really.
Yeah, look, it's hard to say. Like, you gotta wonder maybe if the map veto was just a little bit different, if they went a different direction. It could have been a different story, but we do have interviews coming up. We will have to just get that one prepped. So we are going to throw it to a little bit of a break. We'll then come back for the map breakdown. We'll then get into the interviews, and we'll see you guys back soon.
Space, time. Can you feel me? I'm so scared if I tell all my feelings for you. Need to know what you're feeling, know what you're feeling. I'm so scared if I tell all my feelings for you. Can you feel me? Can you feel me? I'm so scared if I tell all my feelings for you. Need to know what you're feeling, know what you're feeling. I'm so scared if I tell all my feelings for you. Can you feel me? Can you feel me?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the conclusion of the XP Esports Women's League Season 5 Cthulhu. We've just witnessed the closeout of that best-of-3 series, and it came very close to the end there, and coming into this, we do have a bit of a quick match breakdown before we get into the interviews. We'll have we'll get into the interviews first. We'll do that. We'll get that now. We do have joining us from the side of Elevate. It is Elle and holy smokes, Peepo herself. Unfortunate loss at the end of the day, but congratulations, girls. That second map was leaps and bounds
Thank
ahead
you.
of map 1. How does it feel? Unfortunate, but like at least you got to feel good about map 2.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, like coming into it, we were pretty happy. We were like, we're just gonna play for fun. We're gonna do our own thing, and like, hopefully we get good, I guess, and do well. But I mean, on the first map, that didn't really go to plan. And then the second
Yeah.
map, we were like, okay, just reset. We can do it there. We can bring it back. And you know, I'm very proud of everybody's performance. I think we did really well. We definitely worked on the things that we struggled with in the first map. We had a quick talk afterwards, and yeah, we did really well.
I am quite curious about what was happening throughout map number 2, because obviously you girls had a really solid turnout during your both offense and defense. Unfortunately, though, overtime kind of didn't particularly work out. What was kind of the main thing that you were trying to focus once you kind of figured out what seemed to have been kind of the pacing of the girls over at Quacked?
I think, well, first of all, from the first game, it was mainly just our mentality going into it that we just like completely fell apart. We didn't really like couldn't execute things one by one. So in the clubhouse game, we kind of just focused on one thing and focused on that and tried to get that done, and then we just moved on to the next thing. And I think having everyone focus on one thing and communicating and holding crosses, then we were able to do what we were supposed to, like execute things properly. So it was just, you know, keeping our heads clear really for the second map. That was what we were thinking going into it.
Definitely. Mm.
Look, I will take some blame for my responsibility in corrupting the mental of over going into map 1. But look, coming into this, you guys have had a bit of a journey. You finished the group stage 11-3. You started the group stage with Skyfire. Then the merger happened with Overt. What's it like working with the team at Overt?
It's been so good.
Overt's really good, yeah.
I really enjoyed my time with everyone. Shout out to Kaza, by the way. Totally. If you didn't
Oh yeah,
do
I'm
that or
supposed
anything,
to.
but
I'm supposed
thanks,
to say.
Kaza. Thanks, Obeyer as well.
Ani is our coach, and he's just really, really bad. And also, Kaz is really old, and I just feel like I needed to say that. So now that that's out of the way,
we're glad that we
really
had
good.
Overt here for the time that we did. It sucks that we won't see Overt back next season. No, I'm kidding. But look, I do have one. I do have one off-topic question. Al, obviously, you've had a new addition to the family. Is your cheerleader there keeping you motivated?
No, she's not with me right now. She's outside. Do you want me to go get her?
I mean, you can if you want.
Go right ahead.
I'm gonna go get her.
Yeah, go on.
Wait, hold on.
But look,
Big reveal.
Yeah, Peepo. Look, you. I want to pose the question without completely throwing someone under the bus. How was it as a team coming to the realization that Kat did not know what an HSP was?
Look, personally, I was very disappointed because I live in Melbourne, so come on, like HSPs are the best thing about Melbourne, right?
Exactly.
So it really disappointed me. But hey, at least she knows now. But it doesn't stand for Halal Snack Pack. It's Holy Smokes Peepo. And that is going to be known forever. It's in the books forever.
It's women's league law. And there you go, Elle. Your new addition to the Death Snot family.
Yes, this is Death Snot Puppy. She likes to bite my fingers, as you can tell.
Big
Yeah,
enormous.
she's a kitty.
No.
Okay, Thorley, sure you got any more questions for the girls? Like it cannot be stated how impressive your map 2 was. But look, on to next season. Do you reckon you can come back stronger and take out first place?
100%. Yeah.
100%, definitely. We know each other now. We came into the season, we didn't really know each other, and we've built our relationship throughout the season. And I reckon we're in a good place right now, and we're just going to build on that.
Yeah.
For the next season.
Any kind of thoughts on possibly, say, once you girls now finished up with a little bit of women's league. Any thoughts of maybe trying to maybe look up for some of the other leagues, say like OCL onwards?
That's definitely a plan of mine. I think I have no intentions of stopping. Like I'm currently also in AEL, which is it's AEL, but
Mm-hmm.
it's
Whoa,
still.
whoa!
Hey, I'm not calling anyone out here. I'm just saying. I'm just
Hey.
saying. Look, it's fun. I enjoy it. So like I have no intentions of stopping comp, like regardless of the tournament. I just really
Mm.
enjoy this game sometimes. But
A few
yeah,
times.
no. I'm
Now,
gonna,
look,
yeah.
I do have one more off-topic question, and it is again for you, Al. So which of the North American Challenger League fanboys hit your DMs before your match, wishing you good luck?
I don't know if he's gonna appreciate me saying it. He's not technically NA, but he's NA. It's Eska from Parabellum.
Yeah,
Hey.
Met today.
Eska is a homie.
I'll let him know.
He's a good boy. He's really nice. He's actually one of the nicest people I've ever met. He's a good bloke.
Well, congratulations again, girls. Massive effort there, Matt. To unfortunate result at the end. We'll let you head off. You can go and bully some people in ranked, as tends to be the overt norm. But congratulations, top 2. It's still nothing to sneeze at. But we will see you girls next stage, Cthulhu. What a way to close out this season. We do have that map breakdown coming through in a moment before we head into the interview with the representative of the winning team. But I mean, to go from a 7-0 to then bounce back, go full 15 rounds, that's commendable.
Yeah, look, a huge turnout for map 2 on overt. Quacked though, still the reign supreme kind of roster, and absolutely stunning. As a matter of fact, let's actually have a look at how things really unraveled throughout map number 2, because this one was a complete 180 from what we've seen on Cafe. An 8-7 overtime win, a much closer matchup. Funnily enough, only a single round that we've seen was on a defuse, and only one round by the time. The rest was just an absolute bloodbath through and through.
I mean, also on top of that, you look at the numbers in map 1, the highest kill count was Cats with 4 frags for overt. This time around, unfortunately, yeah, she's bottom of the table for the team, but look at the numbers. Serenity, 13 and 10. Peepo, 10 and 12. They went above and beyond. They put in a huge effort to try and claw it back and take us to Oregon. There was just so much work put into that. But unfortunately, I mean, it's kind of in the name. Like, this is what we expected out of the girls on Quack.
Yeah, look, Quack definitely shown us throughout the whole season that they are very much ready, very keen to grind it out and get to the very bottom of the to the dub. But look, apart from that, overt honestly had one of the more cleaner rounds, cleaner runs, as a matter of fact, throughout the whole season. But just
also worth mentioning, they are undefeated
as well as
in
that.
season 5.
That's true. So yeah.
So that is a pretty solid record, and honestly, I don't believe one that we would see broken anytime soon. Given unless it's them to do it again.
Could be. Look, records are always made to be beaten, so I have to see if that is going to be the case here. Honestly, Women's League so far has been the wildest roller coaster of emotions, I'll have to say, and I don't think it is planning to change anytime soon. As a matter of fact, I am expecting it to be cranked up to the maximum even more next season, given the fact that we've seen such a huge evolution of quite a fair few players throughout all the seasons, and now this very league produces some of the best in Australia players that could very much contest with one of the best players in general throughout OCN, throughout maybe even APAC South. But that's probably still a bit of a maybe stronger of a statement.
Yeah, look, it is an unfortunate result for Overt, but it's one of those situations. I'm pretty sure I said the exact same thing at the close of last season. It gives you hope going into the next. And look, you look at this season, Quack, the amalgamation of Elevate and Nocturnal, the top two teams from last season, came in, monster of a season for them. And now, look, honestly, it's also worth noting for the first time in 3 seasons, almost, actually, no, would be 2 technically, we have a winner that is not Elevate.
That is true. That is true. Finally, a huge change here in the whole trend, I suppose, for Women's League, and look at something to look forward to. A new, possibly, well, quote unquote, a new dynasty, the new reigning champions, and look for quite a fair few teams, even the ones that only made it to, say, 5th and 4th positions. It is still a huge chance for them. It's still a huge incentive for them to keep on pushing, to keep on grinding, because I'll definitely have to say season 5 of Women's League has been by far one of the most competitive ones that we've seen to this date.
Yeah, I mean, look, yeah, it's not wrong at all in the slightest. We are just waiting on KT out of the side of Quack to jump in and join us for an interview. She's got to sort out her laptop. So we will, let's have a look at how we got to this point. We'll have a look at how the round robin finished and then going into the playoffs. It was a monumental journey. There we go. Playoffs bracket 2-0 for Quack over Rams, 2-0 for Overt over Fallen Angels. The only map that went to a decider was 3rd place between the Wrens and Fallen Angels. Otherwise, just clean sweeps all around. I mean, that's a monumental record. Quack to come into this competition. I mean, what, 14-0, 18-0 this season.
That's the one. And they were able to do it with absolute finesse. Look, I mean, only a single team was able to take them to a 7-5. All of the other scorelines were somewhere pretty much around 7-3, 7-2, and really not a whole lot of ways there were to beat Quack. Only a few good opportunities, and majority of them were off the slip-ups from Quack. So, with that said, look, they managed to probably show one of the cleanest runs in Women's League history here to this date. And gotta say, look, gotta give props. I definitely would be surprised if we won't be seeing Fallen Angels or Wrens. Well, we know Wrens already disbanded, but we shall be seeing fresh reiterations of some of at least partially this roster. And I definitely think that they have a huge chance for going even further on their standings.
Honestly, I mean, we saw the significant difference between last season and this one in terms of the shift ups with the teams and everything, and new faces coming into the competition. So, look, if that's anything to go by, next season is going to be absolutely insane.
Oh yeah, 100%. I would be surprised if we won't be seeing pretty much OTs left, right, and center. Better yet, I would actually be quite keen to possibly even maybe look at the opportunity to maybe expand the amount of teams that will be in, to just offer that opportunity for everyone, really, for even more people, because 18s is all cool, but I definitely, like, from what we've seen, even with the sheer amount of subs for some of the rosters, that would have been a solid yet another roster that could have been formed.
I mean, yeah, look, that's honestly, there are some super rosters that could come out. We did say Overt was going to be one of them, but unfortunately, yeah, they just fell fat. Quack definitely proved to be the super team at the end of all of this. But I mean, look, you're coming into next season. We're going to have Thunderbird on the roster. The big changes that are coming with the next patch. I mean, there is a lot that is going to be different. I mean, the number one that I definitely am keen to see is, now that Fuse can work through reinforced walls, how lethal is Cortari going to be?
Oh yeah, look, I am personally excited as someone who's still apparently, according to R6 stats, is still apparently a Fuse main. I am very much excited for those Fuse changes. It's definitely going to put him at the position where he is much more viable for, say, utility clear, for something like even just forcing those out of those positions, similar to how Flores does it to a certain degree, but with a little bit more meme value, I would have to say.
I mean, look, it's definitely looking to be an exciting season, but we are just waiting on Crips. She's having some minor issues, so we will throw it to a quick break. It shouldn't be too long, run an ad or two, and we'll be back with an interview with the winning team, Quack, so don't go anywhere. We
Oops.
muted it. Production
Okay.
is just it's all coming apart here. Cthulhu, we're back. We have had our break. We've got our interviewee ready. It is the clutch queen herself, Crips T, joining us from the side of Quack off the back of a hot victory. KT, how's it feeling? Oh, KT's at Death's Not L.
Yeah,
So
that's
a
all right.
mashup. Yeah, look, we'll
Yeah,
take it.
look.
How are you feeling? How are the girls off the back of that?
We're pumped. We're stoked. It's been a long time coming. The season's obviously getting longer each season, like each time, with more and more teams joining. So yeah, we're definitely stoked.
All right. Run us through what was happening with Cafe, because that was pretty much just. I didn't know that we were playing Payday because that was a whole heist.
L- Cafe for us isn't actually a very strong map in our map pool, so we're actually hoping not to
Really?
play it. So it's
that's not how it played out, KT.
no. Whenever we played it in scrims, it didn't go as well as some of our other maps did. So I guess like our scrim box wasn't there, but it's definitely not a map that we were looking forward to playing. So like kudos to Overt for picking really well. Well, like theoretically, I guess, but yeah, it's not a map that we wanted to play. But girls really galvanized before the game, and we really pulled it together.
And look, obviously, coming off such a hot victory and then going into Clubhouse, and then the rounds start stacking up. What's the mentality like? What's comms like? Because you guys really did battle throughout the entirety of Map 2. What was the mentality like?
I can't lie to you, I was sweating there a little bit. We did stave off, I think, 1 or 2 match points there, I think, at some point. But the comms were good. The mentality was good. Everyone was still upbeat and everything. AJ was complaining many times that she died to nothing, so that's that. But aside from that, we were very upbeat. No one got down. No one's mentals got chalked. It was great. It was really, really good.
That overtime that you that you girls ended up getting towards, it looked a little bit dire, probably to say at the very least, after a couple moments. But were you on the final round? Were you expecting that kind of attempt at full collapse through like dirt tunnel through blue, or was it just something that has been completely reactive?
We were, because we lost both basement defenses, and the first time it was through a dirt and blue push. Second time it was through a strip push. So since both of those were successful, we kind of knew going in that they weren't going to try to clear us, because both of those attacks were successful. So we guessed it was either going to be a hot drop from strip or something like a blue or dirt. And Diana actually adapted really well in that we ended up castle barricading dirt door straight away during prep phase. So that was a really good adaptation. It gave us a lot more time to react. But yeah, we kind of had an inkling, because clearing SSG style runes can be really difficult. So a lot of people look at that and will just pinpoint the weak points, which is probably dirt and blue, and then try to attack from there.
Okay.
Now, look, there is one round that I want you to give us the breakdown of your CCTV defense.
Oh my god.
You run through, you go for the knife play onto default
Oh my
part
God.
spot, and there is no one there.
Yep.
What is going through your head in the final moments of that round?
I panicked a little bit because I was knifing the air and the round wasn't over. I don't know what I was knifing. I don't know what was really going through my head, because I knew I'd smoked off default there, so I knew they couldn't plant there. But I guess I didn't see anyone. I was running past. I completely ran past L. I think it was L, the last person alive. I tunnel vision towards default, even though in the back of my mind I knew they couldn't plant default, and then knifed the air, realized no one was there, and then Sawyer died behind me, and it was a bit of a sweaty moment there, but we made it work.
There we go. Well, look, I mean, congratulations to you. Looking at possible foreseeable future, do you reckon you girls can pull off yet another flawless run next season?
Yeah, so if not sure what the plan for us in next season and beyond is right now, we're just trying to take it step by step, like revel in the moment for now. But I think we're all really good friends outside of the game, and we work really well together. And we don't want to throw everything we've worked for this season just out the window, because we did work hard. Like, each one of us, we put in a lot of our personal time. Most of us have either full-time uni or full-time jobs. Sawyer being a nurse that has to work night shifts regularly. So we all have made a lot of sacrifices to be here where we are today. But yeah, we don't know what's going to happen, but I would 100% stay if all the other girls stayed. So that's where we're at right now.
Also,
But,
anyone in chat that does represent an org and is looking for a women's league team, these girls definitely deserve some big backing. So,
yeah,
but look, I this is something that I have wondered throughout your entire run through women's league, seeing you girls coming in from last. Who is the evil genius mastermind that puts together your strats? Because we have seen some insane defenses out of the Quacked girls that have been completely untouchable. So is that like a team effort? Is there one person in particular? How does this symphony of Quacks come together?
yeah, it's 100% true that we have some really wacky crap. Sorry. But I think there's some other stuff that you guys we haven't been able to show because they've been banned out by Overt today, which is unfortunate because we did work really hard on some really, really wacky stuff. But in saying that, most of the credit has to go to Diana. Most of the unorthodox strats, so to speak, definitely credited to her. She watches a lot of Pro League Siege, a lot of competitive Siege. She has a lot of lightning bolt ideas sometimes that just comes to her mind, and then she'll think through it, draw it out. She'll go through it with the team, and then for the most part, we really do trust her when it comes to our strats, because like, don't fix what's broken, right? We tried it works. If we run default, it's a lot more likely to be found out by the other teams. So we might as well do something weird, do something wacky, have some fun with it at least as well, because a lot of default strats tend to be really utility heavy. A lot of our girls aren't comfortable playing some of the default operators and stuff, and we just kind of want to have a bit of fun as well. So Dino has been really, really good about incorporating fun along with winning, basically, for us. So a lot of the credit has to go to her.
But look, we did see her play Blitz at the start of the season and pick up a double kill in the round on Oregon. So,
yes.
like you said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And when it works as well as it does, you wouldn't want to change a thing. Congratulations, KT. Before we let you head off and celebrate with the girls, is there anyone you do want to shout out?
Yeah. Well, if I name everyone right now, obviously this could go on a while, but obviously I just want to shout out my girls, my team. They've been putting their blood, sweat, and tears this season. So shout out to everyone that voted for us in the chat, who was cheering for us. Shout out to that one guy that said, "Cracked a freelo. I want you to know." Thank you very much for that. And also just a shout out to Mons as well. It's her 23rd birthday today. So thank you. Yep, thank you so much to Mons for subbing, being available every single time that we needed her. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you to you guys. Thank you to Alex. Thank you to the admins. Thank you to everyone involved in Women's League. It's so much fun year by year. Thank you to the girl. Obviously, sorry, I forgot to mention. Obviously, thank you to Overt, the girls at Overt, Serenity, Peepo, Chloe, Kat, and I'm blanking. Yeah, Elle. Sorry.
The one
I'm
that
so
you
sorry.
almost whiffed on.
Yeah. The one. Yeah. Sorry, I'm so sorry. But yeah, they were great competition. Going into the season, kind of had an inkling that they would be one of the finalists. And they proved us right. I know how hard they worked as well. And obviously a shout out to Chloe, my old teammate. Always a pleasure. Being killed by you on the smoke, SMG. So yeah, but yeah, thank you so much.
Well, congratulations once again, champion of Season 5. KT will let you head off. You can relax and bathe in the glow of the championship crown. Cthulhu, that is it. That brings a close to the end of Season 5 of the XP Esports Women's League. The champions, the new queens of the XP Esports Women's League, Quacked, coming in and honestly setting a pretty high bar going into Season 6. But look, there's changes on the horizon. Obviously not locked in the test server, but it could present a new opportunity for players to shine. Any final thoughts?
Look, I'm just excited for the upcoming seasons. Firstly, we are going to be seeing some reiterations of certain rosters, certain changes, and I'm excited what will the girls bring us to once the new season comes about as well, because obviously whilst the OSA is not going to be present, I believe Thunderbird will be allowed finally into the competitive play, and with her addition into the competitive roster, she could turn things around quite severely, and I'm very much excited to witness all of that greatness.
Well, as it comes up onto the screen, the champions of Season 5 once again quacked, and they truly are absolutely quacked on the sticks. But as we come to a close here of Season 5 of the XP Esports Women's League, there is, more on the horizon. We have, the XP Esports Intel Gamers Days, the Dunderdome, coming up in the very near future. And for myself and Cthulhu, this is the beginning of our super weekend of casting. We are done here for the Women's League, but OCL playoffs are just around the corner, and myself and Cthulhu will be taking you through all of that throughout the weekend. So if you're keen for some more Siege based here in ANZ, make sure you check that out. Rainbow Six ANZ on Twitch over Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to see who takes out the crown. But Cthulhu, for us here in Season 5, we are done. Massive thank you to our sponsors. Obviously, the guys at XP put on a hell of a show, but it isn't without help. UQU Esports, CQ Racing, Ubisoft Computer Alliance, Intel ROG, and Cooler Master. Without them, we would not have this opportunity. So thanks to them. We look forward to seeing them back next season, and we look forward to seeing all of you then. Until we see you back for Season 6, goodbye.
I have to stop going back to you. Back to you. Back to you. Back to you. I have to stop going back to you. Back to you. Back to you. Back to you. To you, to you, to you, back to you. I have to stop going back to you, to you, to you, back to you. I have to stop going back to you, to you, to you, back to you. I have to stop going back to you, to you, to you, back to you. I have to stop back to you. 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 I have to start going back.